Saturday night's all right for streaming. Get a little chess in. Let's see, what is all this garbage I have? Let's see. Oh, it's my life savings. That's what the garbage is. And I got all the stuff in my pockets. I guess that's better than one hand in your pocket. Yeah, I had to hurry because I had some stuff to do today. And I'm on Chess TV in 3 minutes. So, etc. All right. So we'll go from 0 viewers to 1,000, like that, son. All right, cool. We're going to do a recap today of the tie breaks. There weren't a lot of tie breaks, so I don't get paid too much because I get paid per hour. Terrible. Go bad. Yeah. Refresh again because it can't hurt. And so forth. And then there were 16. I think there's 8 women and 16 men left. Or is there 8 men left? No, I think there's 16. Maybe there's 8. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it works. Yeah. Yay, I'm streaming. Go me. I haven't got a dragon drink in like 5 months, but it's 90 degrees every day here, so. I was about to order a hot drink, and then I was like, wait a minute. It's 90 and I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt. So maybe I should order a cold drink. So we're having a 2-day tournament here this weekend with good prizes. We have 50 players. Spencer has 2 out of 2. And Karen played an extra rated game with a 1500 and she was black and she won. So that was good. He had a bye. So. Curious Chimpanzee, 200 centimeters. Thank you. Bad Move Ben subscribed. Hooray. Yeah, and we should be on Chess TV any second. This is the closest I think I've started to Chess TV time, but I had some stuff to do. Yeah. Yeah, but in Phoenix, they don't have any humidity. Conversely, Seattle's getting killed. And also in Phoenix, it's always 110, so they literally don't care. They're just like, same shit, different day. But... yeah, here it can be in the 90s and humid. And sometimes I wear a long sleeve shirt because then I'm prettier. And that's not good. Go, Ben. I don't know if it never gets turned on, so I don't know. That's impossible. There should be 0 ads. Everybody should be watching 0 ads. If you're watching ads, that's your fault. You have no business watching my stream if you're not a sub. So if you're watching ads, I hope you just watch all ads. I hope you never get to see me talk. But yeah, everybody obviously should subscribe. And otherwise you're stealing. Boo. No stealing cable. The Simpsons said so. For some reason, a lot of people go to the internet to complain incessantly about nothing. So those are people that get banned. Anyway, if you don't like my stream, don't watch it. And if you don't like ads, subscribe. Otherwise, shut the hell up. Etc. The only thing you should be typing in the chat is cheer and then a large number. That's it. There shouldn't be anything else you do. And so forth. You don't have to tell everybody every second what you're thinking. You can keep your nonsense to yourself. You don't have to tell everybody that you're stupid. We know. It's Karen. 300 centimeters. That's right, Afron Pie. Good. How's that look?
I think it looks fine. What's your opinion?
I literally don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, if I could ban people on the chess Twitch when I'm doing commentary, there wouldn't be anybody watching the commentary because everybody would be banned.
You've been so mad at chat lately. Hey, chat.
No, I was really mad at the chess.com chat. They're like, Danny's no good, Ivan's no good, Ben's no good. Why don't they get other commentators? Why are there commercials? How come they have the wrong camera? Why can't they get the camera the way I want it? Why aren't they showing Magnus's game? It's just nonstop complaining. That's all it is nonstop complaining. And then, they just ignore the chat, the mods. They're just like, yeah, the people are all stupid.
Hey, Pam.
Aunt Podian is gifting 5 subs. Usually when we interview people, they don't complain as much. They're not like, why are you interviewing Karjakin? Why not Magnus? They don't do that usually. They're not that dumb. Pretty dumb.
I think part of the fun is kind of complaining.
Yeah. Aunt Podian is gifting 5 subs.
Take away the fun.
Vishnu Warrior subscribed. Good. And for 6 months in advance. So you're not playing?
No, not this round.
Yeah.
So I'm about to sit with Taisha. We're going to go over some...
Hey, if Rufus and Doofus finish early while I'm streaming, have them come in.
Okay, and I can come in after we're done with you.
Yeah, you know Rufus and Doofus.
I know Rufus and Doofus.
Exactly, yeah. And so forth.
Right.
Did you eat your scones?
Not yet.
What did you take?
The blueberry one, the big one.
Yeah. Yeah. All right.
Have fun.
Yeah. They're complaining that Danny complained that he didn't understand Ivan.
He complained on the stream?
No, they claim that somebody claimed that Danny said he couldn't understand Ivan, which obviously didn't happen.
He would never say that.
Right.
Publicly.
But what happens is this. Ivan says a variation, right? And, Danny can't follow it. So he says, yeah. He doesn't know what Ivan's saying because it's chess. Right? She's not saying nonsense puns like me and Nodirbek. She's just saying like bishop e3, queen e2, and he's like, what? Yeah. He's like, I'm an IM. But instead of saying I don't understand the analysis because I'm too weak, he just like ignores her and says, okay, now he just doesn't know what to say.
Well, maybe maybe she actually needs to improve her commentary a little and give a little explanation.
Yeah, well, she doesn't realize how weak Danny is.
Well, how weak we all are.
Yeah, no, just Danny.
I mean,
she's used to doing commentary with, Nodirbek and, Hess and Kasparov and Fischer and Steinitz. Yeah.
You got to be able to dumb it down.
Man, and much worse than Ivan, as far as going quickly, is Vichy. Vichy just like talking to himself. He's like, here, yeah, okay. And I'm like, I can't follow it. I can follow everything. But he's like talking to himself.
Yeah.
So he might even skip some moves because he's already done them in his head. And Danny has no idea what Vichy's doing. He just says a lot of moves, and he's like, yeah, those are good moves. Yeah, terrible. How can you have a guy who's the CEO? I mean, he's not the CEO. How do you have a guy who runs the company, basically, is the face of the company, and there's 4,000 chess players in the world better than him, and he does commentary. And he wakes up at 4 a.m. to do it. Now, don't get me wrong. Danny and me are like that, son. But why is the guy who's like in charge waking up at 4 a.m. to do commentary that's not as high a level as basically anybody? Like, this is weird.
Is he just filling in for when people don't?
No, he does commentary all the time.
I know, I see him.
No, he's like the main guy. No, but I mean, if I ran chess.com and my job was to get commentators, they wouldn't be me if I had to get up at 4 a.m. I would get, I get Fischer and Steinitz and Morphy. It wouldn't be me. There's 1,000 people in the world better than me. Why would?
Maybe he's a morning person.
Yeah, he's a 4 a.m. Right.
I like his personality.
That's fine, but you hire people to do that kind of work. I'm not saying we're not the best duo of all time. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying,
I think
it's like her. She's the boss, and she's like, let me do this and let me do this, instead of letting somebody else do it. The same as you. You shouldn't do anything. Nothing.
That's not what I'm about.
Yeah, I know. But you're like, let me paint and let me put TVs on the wall, and like get people to do that for you. Yeah.
You got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
I think you and Hess are great together. Mm-hmm. But I think you need to understand that some people really like Danny's personality, and that's why he's doing a lot of comedy.
Nobody likes Danny's personality.
I do.
All right. James Wilco 113 subscribed.
Oh
shit! Subscribed. Oh shit. The best oh shit of all time, and she will agree, is when the Frank's Pretty Woman. He said he gets on his knee and shows her the ring, and says, "How about it? Will you be my whatever?" And then he has like a T-shirt on, and then she goes, "Oh shit!" And then she just collapses and dies. Yeah, that was a good answer. Yeah, Delver Flip subscribe. It's tier 3. God damn. And so forth. It's
right.
Pam. Hey Pam.
I guess I gotta go do work. I shall return then.
Yay! The complaining has worked. Yay! Her median. What do you? Some Armenian name I can't pronounce. Thank you. James Wilkes. Let's see some Booth. J4Y Bruise. Yeah. Serdiva D gave 10 subs. God damn. Thank you. Caged, I guess, Bruno or Cage subscribed. Howdy. And so forth. It's the best train we've ever had. Now, it is true, chess.com has the best commentary ever. And for the World Chess Championship in Dubai, November, December, the main commentator is going to be Anand. So, but still everybody complains, why doesn't Anand answer my questions in the chat? He's not reading the chat. We got like 50 screens going and 10 producers telling us what to do. And we're, when to go to break and when to go to an interview. And we can't be reading the chat. I read the chat anyway, but that's neither here nor there. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, especially from the producers, much more than me and Danny and Vichy and Danya. The person who's driving does a lot more than the commentator. So when I'm commentating, I'm doing nothing. And then Danny and Danya and Hess gotta do like 100 things. And I did do that when I was commentating with Canty, I think. Maybe he was doing it. I did it a couple times. I did it before anybody started. Anyway, tomorrow I'm not doing commentary. It's Anand. Anand might leave early, 50-50. Then I'm on call. So if Anand's like, I've had enough of this, and leaves, then I'll come on. But that's 50-50. But you're going to get Danny all day. Danny wakes up 4 in the morning, and the commentary starts 5 in the morning his time. Jesus. Etc. 200%. Yeah. It's hard to read chat. Yeah, Bigfoot does everything, and he's in the chat, right. Yeah, Bigfoot can multitask 70 things at once. I look at the game, and I'm like, I don't know, both sides are going to resign. Well, Judah Polgar's birthday was yesterday, so I can't tell stories anymore. I have to wait a whole year. Darmesi 193 gave 200 centidues. Yeah. Go find Gold Gun. It doesn't look like Perrier. There's Perrier everywhere in the club, but I got this at Starbucks because I was thirsty. I've had at least 4 Perrier today. All right, let's do the recap. Okay, now here's what made me mad today. I'm going to be mad about it for about a week, then I'll forget. I made a really good joke in my video a few days ago. I said, actually it was like 3 weeks ago. It was a World Open game I did. White had a pawn on a5, and I was explaining how the pawn was weak, so I'm going to win that pawn eventually. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but someday and soon. And then I said, in a stroke of genius, that advice was given by the great chess player Capablanca. Okay, so that's a really funny joke that only like 30% of you got. So somebody on YouTube today said, you meant to say Casablanca, nice try. How can you be that dumb and post on YouTube? Did he have his mom post for him? Jesus Christ. Terrible. Delicious. Terrible. Nah, they're dumb. Yeah. Yay, such strong support. 13 subs, 700 bits, Papa John's. That's not what happened. I got a lot more than 13 subs and probably more than 700 bits. Yeah. Okay, let's get to the squares. This is Abdusattorov versus Durarbayli. And Durarbayli has completely outplayed Abdusattorov. And this is game 1 of the tiebreak. And Durarbayli's winning. The most obvious move is knife f5 because the knight on h4 is terrible. The knight on f5, good. Then, here, and black's a pawn up and black's better. Black's winning. Okay, and what's funny is earlier in the game, he played knight takes h4 to win a pawn. This gives up this square, so you should just go back. Okay, now Durarbayli made every move was a mistake, and he missed every tactical trick. So basically, this is how you guys would play with white, with black. Not with white. With white, you wouldn't see anything, but with black. And this is why Abdusattorov is good. One of the reasons that the gawking rabble, which is you, doesn't understand how good players are is because when somebody's really good and sees everything, typically their opponent is really good and sees everything. Occasionally, somebody like Jeffrey Zhang, who's really good, plays somebody like me, and then you're like, man, Jeffrey's good because he's playing me. And then you realize how good he is. But if Jeffrey never plays people like me and just plays 2700s, it's hard to see how good he is. So this particular moment in time, for reasons I don't understand, Durarbayli just played terrible every move. Okay? And he's too good to do that. So, let's wrap it up. And then you're going to see how good Abdusattorov is. God damn! Because, black's just winning here. After this, black's up a pawn and better. This is weak. This square is juicy. And he can't do anything. But he got too aggressive. He played g5, which, is still good for black. And white played c5. In this position, he made the losing move. There's several moves black can play where he's equal or better, but he didn't see white's next move. And he forced white to play it. That's the funny part. He played f5 double question mark, forcing white to win. Now, this move is amazingly bad. Here's what I mean. I don't mean the engine says it's bad. That's not what I mean. What I mean is, if you play f5 and the guy moves his knight away, hanging his c pawn, that doesn't make any sense. Why is white doing that? So basically, f5 is insulting. f5 is like, man, you're dumb. You got to move your knight, I take that. And Abdusattorov isn't doing that. Right, and the last move, he played c5. So if f5 attacks the knight moves away and you win the pawn, c5 is idiotic. And some of the top players don't think like I do. They're just like, c5 is idiotic. And I'm like, it's idiotic if you're playing like a beginner, but if you're playing, 2600 Super GM, then probably he was ready for f5 and he has a move against it, and you better figure out what it is. Because otherwise, c5 is really stupid. And, he played f5 anyway. So g5 bad, f5 bad. Now white's winning. Benjamin Bach rated with a party of 87. He'll be Bach. Go, Benjamin. It's all about us. Yeah. Hooray for the raid. Raid. All right, good job. Okay, so white played knight d6 check, and then, white's winning. So f5 is just, it's not that it's a bad move because the engine says it's a bad move. It's not a bad move because it is a bad move. It's a bad move, f5 is, because if white doesn't play knight d6 check, c5 was frankly ridiculous. So Vasif should have said, why is my opponent playing f5 with c5 when f5 wins? And the only person who does this to me often is Ray Robson. I've played Ray Robson, I don't know, 7, 8 times in my life, probably 8. And every game, he makes a move that previously I thought he couldn't play. And when he does that, I'm like, all right, why is he right and I'm wrong? I think about it and I figure it out. It's never happened that I was right and he was wrong. It's never happened. Never. When I stop Ray Robson from making a move and he makes the move, that's because I'm wrong. And then I figure out why I'm wrong and I'm like, oh, the move that I thought was good for me loses. Then I don't play that move. And so that's why, f5 is ridiculous. Okay, so you can't move your king because knight takes c6. I can't even explain how good that is. It's too good. So you take, check. You can't allow knight takes c6 by moving your king like here or here. Although if you go here, actually rook takes c6 check is a good move. So he played the right move. Then he played the right move. And white played for the win because black just played so stupidly, even though black's up a piece. Black's knight on h4 is terrible. Okay, now black decided to play badly after he messed it up. He knew he messed it up. King a8, rook b2. And even though white's down a piece, everything is perfect. You can't have a better position, and this knight is just offsides, not playing. Bishop d5 is another blunder. Rook b6 is also a mistake. Basically, every move is a mistake because they're playing rapid. A brilliant move would have been d7 with the obvious idea, takes, and you can't take the pawn because of rook b8 mate. So white's winning. And he didn't play d7, he played here, okay, which is okay. Knight takes g2, which is just terrible. Nothing to do with the position. d7 and white's winning again. And there's no move here. Okay, if it's white's move, I play rook b8 check. And then if you take, I take with check, and I queen with check, and I take everything, and I mate you. So you play king a7, fine. Rook b8. Every move Durarbayli plays is terrible. g5, f5, knight takes g2, bishop d5. He went from playing great every game to just making 7 blunders out of 8 moves. So he goes from winning to just dead lost in 7 moves. Okay. Rook d7, fine. Yeah, and this is the nice part. This is the nice part. It's coming. The only move to stop mate is knight e6, and he played it because I'm going to play here and then mate or mate. So he stopped it. Knight b6. And I don't blame Durarbayli for blundering here because he's losing anyway. But it's funny how Durarbayli doesn't see any of the tactics in this 12-move span. He just plays bad. Conversely, Nodirbek saw most of the tactics. So it doesn't matter what black does, he's losing. But he played here, and it's really good that all these moves happened because this is amazing what white did here. So it's good that Durarbayli allowed this, so now we can see it on my stream. Probably he was thinking of my stream. Durarbayli beat me so badly 2 years ago, he has to apologize. Just banning people. All right, I banned enough. Rook a8 check. Frankly, not good for black. Only legal move, although he resigned. Only legal move and mate. This match was very topsy-turvy. If somebody won the first game, then the other guy won the second game, and so on. So when it looked like somebody was winning the match, then they didn't. Okay. So that was really nice finish by Abdusattorov, but Durarbayli just played terribly. I mean, it was horrible. I understand playing horrible. I do it all the time, but come on. All right. Now, this was the next game, and Black needed to draw to win the match. Okay, and he played the French. Bishop h6. The point is you can take on b2, which is fine. Okay, and knight bd2 is good. Saving the rook, takes. So Black's up a pawn, and Black has the 2 bishops, but Black's queen is a little silly. Little bit. Okay, castles. And the engine slightly prefers white. Slightly. Bishop d7. Now, here's what I don't like. I'm not saying that Black's moves aren't good. I'm just saying I don't like them. I don't like them because the queen just can't stay on b2 forever, and Black disagreed. And this is the difference between me and a good young player. The good young player doesn't care about principles of chess. Okay? Young players care about calculation. Now, we could have a whole stream about how we're both wrong. I'm wrong and they're wrong. Okay? I'm wrong because, the perfect chess game is brute force calculation. Strategy is irrelevant. Because chess is a game with perfect information that you can analyze to the end. So strategy doesn't make any sense. What makes sense is this move wins, this move draws, this move loses, because you look all the way to the end in every variation like a table base. So if you have a table base position and somebody says, well, the strategic principles are this, and then the table base says this wins, this draws, this loses, which is what it says, that doesn't matter. Strategic principles. Okay, now, that's the reason I'm wrong. The reason he's wrong is you cannot do that. So let me give you like an analogous situation. The best way, the quickest way to get from New York to Dubai is to take an airplane. If you take boats but take an airplane. Then somebody could say, no, that's not the quickest way. You need to build a machine that either transports you there in 1 second, like in Star Trek, or you need to build something that goes much faster than a plane, so I can get there in 20 minutes. I don't want to get there in several hours. Now, that person's right. The plane isn't the fastest way to get there in theory, but that's the fastest way you can get there now. You can't get there faster. Okay, so in chess, you could argue the way to play chess is to calculate all the way to the end. And the kids are like, great, I can do that. And I would say, no, you can't. And since you can't, you should play on general principles and calculation. You got to mix them. And, if you calculate this move, that's bad. So if your general principles are bad, you're going to calculate a lot of bad moves and then reject them. So in this position, my general principles are get the queen out of there. The engine's general principles are calculating brute force, so it says this is the best move. It's a scary move to make because, Black doesn't have any development, his king's open, and it looks really dangerous. But the engine says, no, I calculate, I don't care about that. Abdusattorov plays bishop d7, which I don't like because it doesn't win material, and it leaves the queen here. I don't like the queen there. And he literally doesn't care. He says, yeah, my queen's there, but I calculate it and it's fine. His way of playing is better than my way of playing because he's good at calculating and I'm not. My way of playing is better because I understand chess better than he does. But I can't calculate anything, so he just beats me every game because that's more important. But I've been playing chess since before his grandmother was born, so I know a lot about chess. I've beaten grandmasters whose queens were sitting there, like my game with Kuliasevich from the Spice Cup about 11 years ago. 12 years ago. Okay. So this is a bad move. Okay, knight b3. Now, I'd really be scared if I was black. These players aren't scared. They just calculate and they make the move. Okay, so, yeah, my queen's here, so what? So he plays rook c8, engine approved. a3, stopping queen a3, so the queen is actually trapped now. The queen has nowhere to go. Okay. This position, black took the pawn, which is bad. The correct engine move is knight to d8. With two ideas. You're controlling the c file now, so you can move your queen, and you unleash the latent potential of the bishop, so bishop a4. So if you're an engine, you play knight d8, and black is better, because black just opened up two of his pieces. And instead, he played bishop takes a3 because he's a kid. And he's like, now I'm up 2 pawns. And I don't see what white's going to do. I'm literally not scared. And you have to realize, if somehow white can perpetual the queen, I'm not saying he can, but if he can, which the engine says he can, that's a draw, and black wins the match. Black won the first game. So all black has to do is draw. He's not worried about perpetuals on his queen because he wins the match. And what's funny is knight d8 was the best move, always retreat, and bishop takes a3, loses to a retreat. It's like, I know stuff about chess. Amazing. And white played the winning move, and it's very hard to find. I mean, it's a Paul Morphy special. We're getting a piece involved that isn't too involved. Yeah. That's right, Bone Crusher. I'm not sharing with Caitlin. Yeah, knight e1 is correct. Now, knight d3 is annoying. But the thing is, the queen is here, and I wouldn't do that. Now, I'm not saying that was a bad move. I'm saying I wouldn't do that, because I don't want to lose my queen. And my game with Ivić, his queen was there for a few moves, and I won his queen. He resigned on move 15. He's higher rated than me. So, he's better than me, but I took his queen. So, I need a queen. Okay. He played knight b4, stopping knight d3. Knight c5, blocking the rook, opening up the queen. So maybe I'm threatening knight takes, king takes, queen a4 check, winning the bishop. But you can see here that this queen's not good. The bishop is trapped. If I take this, your king goes for a walk. Knight a4 looks like looks like a strong threat. It's impossible to play black here. He played knight c6, always retreat. Knight d3. He has to defend his bishop, but now he can't. Now he played knight c6, so his bishop could retreat. But he didn't get a time to because his queen kept getting attacked. So he moved his queen and he lost a bishop, and he had no chance this game. He just lost down a piece. The game went on forever, and white won. But in a must-draw game, black trapped and moved all of his pieces in his opponent's territory, and one of them didn't get out. So it's a very strange way to play. Instead of playing solid, he played basically like a lunatic. Yeah, kids, right. Yeah. Now, of course, what youngsters try to do, they can't do, but they still do it better than old people. So, but yeah, when I was teaching a lot of private lessons, I know for a fact people rated 900, 1100, 1400, 1700, they can't see anything. So if they're like, look at this variation I calculated, that means they calculated it wrong. So you want to minimize the amount of calculation you do and maximize the amount of understanding you have. You understand the position. You're like, queen looking pretty silly there. I don't know about that. I don't want my queen there. And even if you're one of the best players in the world, and you get your queen to a stupid position, but you're like, no, I figured it out. It's fine. Then you're like, damn, I missed something. I guess I lose. So in a must draw or win situation, he was losing out of the opening, and he lost. Because he plays crazy. Without calculating, I'm not going to leave my queen on b2 forever and my bishop on a3. That's crazy. But, he calculates better than I do. So he was like, yeah, I can do that. And the truth hurts. If you don't have understanding and calculation abilities, then, and this is why Magnus is good, and Karpov and Kasparov and Kramnik, because they can do both. Now, Kasparov can't do either now, but that's a different story. Yeah. Okay. So this is frankly embarrassing. Frankly. This is the worst thing Karjakin's ever done. Right? And I've seen Mr. Belvedere naked. Lost in Hollywood subscribed. What's funny is Karjakin won the match. So he literally didn't care that he played the worst move of his career here. So this position is very slightly better for black, and there's a very obvious move for black. So this is pinned. This is, somewhat attacked, and this is attacked. So the two moves I would consider for black are bishop d6 and bishop f6. And it turns out another move that's playable, which I probably wouldn't consider, is d3, counterattack. I wouldn't consider that because after takes, this is still hanging. But, the engine just doesn't care. The engine's like, yeah, whatever. Yeah. Okay. Here, Karjakin makes a quadruple question mark move. And the reason Karjakin's good, amongst other things, is he calculates really, really, really well. He sees all of his opponent's threats. He never blunders. Here, he didn't see his opponent's threat and he blundered. It's somewhat understandable because we're removing a lot of guards. There's a lot of guards to be removed. Like queen c7. So this is defending this. This is defending this. This is defending this. And this is defending this. And it turns out, because of that, white's winning. Okay? So queen c7 is double question mark. And for somebody like Karjakin, unacceptable. Right? I mean, you can't do that. I mean, he's too good to do that. You can't have a guy who plays Magnus 6-6 for the world championship, loses on tiebreak, and then just makes like a most ridiculous move ever. Okay, so now white wins very simply. And this would be like a somewhat difficult in tactics trainer puzzle rush. But I would expect Hikaru to solve this in like 1 second. If this popped up and Hikaru was doing puzzles, I think he would solve it in 1 second. So Karjakin can't be missing that. Okay, so you take the knight, which he did, and then you take the bishop. And if you play rook takes rook, queen takes pawn check, wins the rook. Tactics 101. After rook takes c8, he resigned. Now you might say that was difficult to see, but that's why, Sergey's top 20 in the world, youngest grandmaster ever until, last week, and 2,800 sometimes, playing for the world championship, because he doesn't miss that. So that's terrible. And because he didn't miss it anymore, he still won the match. But, see, now, the reason it's easy for Karjakin is every move is a capture and a check. That's, if for example, h4 was the winning move, and Karjakin missed that, that's acceptable. If bishop f1 is the winning move, that's acceptable. But you can't miss takes, resigns. Opponent just takes a piece every move, and you're like, oh yeah. I mean, that's terrible. I'm not saying I wouldn't do it. I'm just saying Karjakin shouldn't do it. Yeah, so he was probably like really upset here. Like, what the hell? Because he doesn't miss stuff like that. He's good at seeing stuff like that, but he shouldn't miss it. etc. 100 sentences. The chances that Samshin becomes world champion, is there a number less than 0? I don't think there is. So 0. Okay. Whenever the chat asks a question, what are the chances of something happening? It's always 0%. It doesn't matter what you ask. You always ask things that can't happen because you want them to happen. And that's the problem that you all have with your life. Write this down or watch the video again. Everybody in their life thinks if they want something, that's the end. I want to be a millionaire, and you don't do anything to do it. You want to be a millionaire. Well, who doesn't? I guess billionaires don't, because then they would lose a lot of money. So you wanting Sam to be world champion, you might as well want your dog to be world champion. It's not going to happen. Unless you have a really smart dog. But pigs are smarter than dogs, and all you do is kill them and eat them. So I don't know. I guess you guys aren't so bright. Okay. Now in this position, Black made a mistake, and I understand why he made the mistake. I literally understand. Here, Black has 2 moves to consider. Knight c6 and knight a6. Okay, now, in the game, he played knight a6, which is very bad. And the reason is, if you take this pawn, your queen has some issues. The engine says you can take that pawn, because after either rook to b8, I go here. What the hell? And it's like equal. All right. However, Black thought he couldn't play the correct move because now the queen has the a6 square. So now it looks like you just win a pawn. So knight a6 looks like you can't take the pawn because the queen can't escape. Knight c6, the queen can escape to a6. So this is very bad judgment on his part because knight a6 is terrible. You can't have your knight on a6. That's terrible. Ugh. Now, it's so terrible that if Black just lost a pawn here, that would be better than knight a6. Black has an amazing move that nobody would ever see ever, except the computer. Knight takes d4. And the reason is the queen defends a6 now. So when you take this, I trap the queen. Now, it's still a draw because White plays bishop e5. You can't take the queen because you're down a piece. And then the queen escapes, and then it's a draw. All zeros. So after knight c6, there's no reason that Black should be worse here. No reason. This is completely equal. A lot of people would take Black because this is a bad bishop. But, Magnus has nothing. It's just equal. But I guess he didn't see knight takes d4 because who would? So he played knight a6. Now, in my grandmaster opinion, even though I'm a fake grandmaster, Magnus played better than any engines ever played ever from this point on. There's some positions, Magnus is better than the engine. And this is one of them. And if Magnus gets these kinds of positions every game, he's going to win the World Cup. And the games he does not win are like the games against this opponent when they're just wild and crazy. And then Magnus furrows his brow in a vain attempt to understand the situation. Man, does Magnus understand these positions. And what Magnus needs to do for the good of the world, not for him, not for you, not for his dad, for the good of the world, Magnus needs to take games like this and then show like what he's thinking and how he plays. Like make videos, and then we'll all be better. Everybody will be better at chess. Because the only thing wrong with Black's position is this stupid knight, and he makes the win look effortless. Frankly, ridiculous. Okay, he plays rook c1, normal. Queen d7, he wants to, defend the b7 pawn, defend the b5 pawn, and defend a rook on c8. And now the queen can't get attacked by the bishop, or the rook, or the queen. Looks good. Bishop f4, obviously the bishop's better there. Queen g3, he wants to pressure here because this knight is so stupid. And he prevents knight c7. Right? So it's like a twofer. It's like, should I go here or should I stop that? I'll just do both. Thanks, Welch's grape juice. Good, good. Okay, f6. Never play f6. The engine prefers, I think, king h8. Oh, now it says f6. Man, that's how bad his position is. Now it says g6. I don't know what I hate more, f6 or g6. g6? God damn, I hate that move. I would play f6 before g6 because this gives up all the dark squares. You got to put a black bishop in there. Okay, so the engine just says black's getting crushed. Thanks, a Becker 765. Okay, h4, putting it in h and getting luft. Black trades everything, leading to an easy draw, except for one thing. And then he plays b4. And the knight is trapped, and if it was white's move, I'm not saying it's white's move, but if it was white's move, b5 is annoying because it wins your knight. So this is just a genius move. It puts a lot of pressure here, and it stops the knight from moving. Thanks, GM Evo Morty. Okay, so he plays b5. That's the engine move. That stops white from playing b5. h5. So he's tickling him on both sides of the board. But more important than that, how well Magnus is playing, is that you in the audience, on YouTube, on Twitch, in the sky, in my dreams, that you understand how bad the knight on a6 is. That's one thing low-rated players have trouble with, is understanding dominated pieces. That's above your pay grade. You guys understand when white takes that knight for free. That you understand. You're like, well, he took my knight, so I'm down a knight. You understand that. What you don't understand is when a piece is bad, and it can never not be bad. It's just always bad. And I knew from the day that knight was born that it was going to be bad. Bad to the bone. No. Yeah, that's the worst knight ever. Okay, queen d7. He puts pressure here, so you can't move the knight because you're going to lose a pawn. h6, stopping h6. Queen c3. Now you can't move the knight anyway. g3. You can't take the h-pawn because check wins your knight. So you got to go back and stop queen c6. Queen c2. I mean, Magnus playing on both sides of the board is just great. Black is helpless. He can't move his knight. He can't stop like the threats. And he can't improve his position. Okay, king f8, not the best. Queen e8 was the best. That's the best. Finally, he gets his knight out because Magnus let him. And then bishop h6 because the g-pawn's pinned. Now, you might say, why did black allow that? I mean, you can't have your knight here the whole game. The engine actually says knight c7 is the best move. Because we're losing a pawn, but now we can get our pieces to good squares. Okay, he pins the knight, so you can't play knight d4 because it's pinned. Queen e4, and now Magnus has to figure out what pawns to take. And Magnus has up 2 pawns and the queen upon ending, and he finds a way to trade queens. It's like cheating. Yeah, that's cheating. That's amazing. And then after here, the finishing touch. This is something you guys could do. What's the winning move for white? Yeah. This is funny because, okay, he played on, but I'm not sure why. Okay, then he resigned here. Trying to Learn was telling me he tried to win this against an engine, and he figured out how. So you play king b3, and you play a4. After you play a4, if black lets you play a5, you play a5, you run your king here and play f4, and the king can't, the king has to stay with the a-pawn. Therefore, after a4, you have to take. I take with the king, and then I win. So here he resigned, because it's ridiculous. Yeah. Anyway, that was awesome. I mean, Magnus, I mean, that was just an awesome game. Magnus took an equal position, just won by brute force. And the reason was Wojtaszek played knight a6. And it's okay to have bad pieces as long as they're not permanently bad. But it was permanently bad. And then he had to sacrifice his h-pawn to get his knight to a reasonable square. Then all of his pawns were weak and Magnus wrapped it up. But I mean, considering that's a rapid game, that's amazing. Because he's in such control. And Magnus doesn't play as well as somebody like Kasparov or Tal or Fischer when it's dicey, when there's complications and the engine's confused. But when it's simplified and there's a clear idea for what you should be doing, I mean, he's better than the engine. He makes it look really easy. Like his opponent gets no counterplay, and then it's terrible. So that's why in the other games, the slow games, his opponent was mixing it up and getting crazy positions, even if they weren't good for him, because Magnus isn't as good at crazy positions. But at these simplified positions, he's an engine. Terrible. And it's very reminiscent of the way Karpov played in the 70s and 80s. Karpov won, and nobody knew why. Like, he was equal, then he was better, then he was winning, and then he won. And it's fun to do that, except while you're doing that, most people blunder. Now, I was equal, I was slightly better, I was clearly better, I was winning, then I hung my queen. Yeah, but Karpov didn't hang his queen. Yeah. All right. Okay, so the most underrated player in this event, which is shocking, because nobody's going to think he's underrated, but I'm still right, is Grischuk. Magnus is the favorite to win the tournament at the moment, and I think clearly second is Grischuk. It's not even close. I think Grischuk has a better chance than MVL. I almost want to say he has a better chance than Magnus, but I won't say that. Grischuk doesn't do anything wrong, and Grischuk's an amazing blitz player. He has amazing understanding of chess. He has amazing calculating ability. He just has no weaknesses. And he doesn't play insane. Occasionally, the top players are like, let's play insane this game, right? You see MVL losing on move 12 because he plays like a lunatic. He wins anyway. Grischuk just, he just plays ABC poker, which, by the way, he's good at poker. Okay, so in this position, Black made the losing move, although Black's position is pretty bad. I mean, he's got nothing. There's no counterplay. This is weak. This bishop's amazing. White has better control of the center. These bishops suck, especially the bishop on e7. God damn. Terrible. Okay, and here he blundered. He played queen b7. And that is a blunder that Korobov shouldn't be making. Korobov's too good to make that blunder. Right? That just loses very simply. It's not hard. It's captures and threats. It's not like, ooh, king h1, I missed that. Okay, it's bishop takes f6. Black has to play bishop takes f6. And now, probably Korobov saw this, and he wasn't afraid of queen takes d6, and the engine agrees. Because this, this is terrible. Okay? So probably he thought, if he does this, he'll do this, and then I'm okay. And I mean, just after e5, he can resign. So Korobov missing bishop f6 and e5 is ridiculous. And he did miss it, because if he saw it, he wouldn't allow this. If Korobov saw this at e5, he'd be like, oh, I can't play queen b7. So because this is lined up like this, and this is defended by this, and this is blocking the rook and queen, bishop f6 just solves all of White's problems. His queen can't do this because the bishop's in the way, can't win the bishop because the knight's defending it. So, I mean, it's over. And he played on forever, but it got embarrassing because you don't want to resign right out of the opening early middle game. If you lose in 40 moves, nobody knows that you played so stupidly. But I do. He could have resigned here. But then you're like, man, Korobov got crushed. Now you're like, Korobov lost in 44 moves, so it's probably a really hard game. It wasn't a hard game. Yeah. And then God damn. He puts his foot on the throat. Yeah, and it's 2 knights. He doesn't trade. All your stupid teachers, ignorant teachers, teachers who don't care about you, they just want your money. Okay, now all I want is your money, but I care about you. So like if I have a student, I don't have students now, but if I had a student and they gave me all of their money, which is what I want, then when they play in a tournament, I want them to win every game. Okay, if you have a chess coach, they don't care how you do. They just pretend to, then they take your money. But I actually do care. I want my students to win. I'm like embarrassed if my students don't win. Now, your stupid chess coach and the stupid books that you bought tell you to trade when you're ahead, which is incorrect. Nothing's more incorrect than that. Like if you voted for Trump, that's more correct than trading when you're ahead. You trade bad pieces for good pieces. Trade queens when your king is worse than your opponent's. None of that is true. This queen sucks. It can't go here, it can't go here, it can't go here. It's in the corner, and white's queen is fantastic. That's a great queen. Okay, that queen does everything. So trading queens is just dumb. But your coach will be like, Grischuk should have traded queens here because you trade when you're ahead. Give me $100. Terrible. Yeah. Whoever your coach is, they're wrong about everything, basically. If they were right, they'd be playing Grischuk. But if they play Grischuk, they go 0-20, so they teach you instead. Because if your coach went 0-20, you might get another coach. Yeah, truth hurts. Okay, queen f5. You need Grischuk as your coach. That's the solution. Okay, he doubles up on the bubble up. Knight d5. Knight e3. Unleashing the rook. The knight stopped the rook. 2 pieces for a rook, etc. Yeah, the way he dominates is great. I mean, black just can't do anything. Here comes knight f5. He stops taking on f2. Man, when knight f5 happens, that's going to be bad. Queen e5. God damn. The engine plays rook takes now because it doesn't know what to do. Because there's check and there's knight f5. Centralization. Boo. Now again, your coach would tell you, when you're winning, keep it simple. Don't play for tricks. Okay? And then Grischuk went up to your coach and said, hold my beer. Check. Always repeat. You'll notice everybody always repeats. And I say always repeat, and you laugh at me, but then everybody always repeats. So, yeah, always repeat. Hooray for repeating. Now, first of all, I have a question. I have a serious question. Oh, okay, g6. Okay, this is 1. It's white's move. Oh, the knight didn't go to d5. Okay, so that's just 2. He's a genius. Yeah. Man, that was good. He just kept repeating. He repeated one position twice and this position twice. Wow, he's better than me at repeating because he's Russian. That's good repeating. Yeah. Then Grischuk had all he could stands. He can't stands no more. And the thing is, the reason Grischuk repeats is you always repeat, and black can't get rid of the repetition. Black has to play king f8, has to play king g8, and he has to play king g8 here because this is mate. Yeah, and then Grischuk plays knight g6, which he saw earlier, but he repeated first to get time on the clock and to show his opponent who the boss was. Yeah, and the answer is it man crazy Mona? I don't know, maybe. Yeah. You know how I say always repeat? And then every grandmaster that you watch always repeats. Did you ever notice that? The best part is when the grandmasters are repeating And then people in the chat are like, hey, he's taking a draw. And then I put my head down in shame. Ugh. Horrible. Okay. And then he resigned because that's the best move. Resigning. So the only move to play that's not resigning is to take. This doesn't work for many, many reasons. One is if I take with the queen, it's pinning this. One is I can check and take the rook, and the other is this is checkmate. So you can't play rook takes knight. Now, if you want to stop checkmate, probably you should... Actually, this is the engine move, giving the queen away, because it stops checkmate. But if you take, now you get checkmated. And you lose your rook with check. It doesn't matter where you go. If you go here or here, I check and take with check. If you go here, I check. Stop it. I check and take with check. And if you go here, I check, and take with check. Now, probably I could mate you instead of doing that, but I'm just showing you how, this is the best move according to the engine. This is the best that black can do. Here. Then there's two funny mates. There's this one where you can play mate and mate. Or there's this one where you play mate. Yeah. So instead of playing knight g6 and his opponent resigning, he plays knight check, knight check, knight check, and then he plays knight g6 as his opponent resigns. Good job, Grischuk. Yeah, that guy's really hard to beat because he doesn't do anything wrong. I mean, Grischuk's just great. He's just great. The only thing he did wrong in his life was he bet against me when I played 1 minute against Alejandro Ramirez. That's his biggest regret in life. Terrible. Yeah. So if Magnus doesn't win this event, it's going to be Grischuk. I almost want to say Grischuk instead of Magnus, but I won't. I almost want to. And I would be really, really, really surprised if anybody else won. I'd be surprised. If MVL won, I'd be surprised. If Karjakin won, I'd be surprised. I think those are the only four who can win, right? He can't win, he can't win, he can't win. Yeah, I think that's it. Can somebody else possibly win? I don't think so. Vidit? That's funny. If it was meant as a joke, that's good. Vidit is going to win the event? No. No, Vidit's... No. Shanklin, that's funnier than Vidit. Yeah. Dubov is not going to win because he's out. So he's definitely not going to win. Dude is not going to win. No. Shakespeare, no. Esipenko, no. Nope. Yeah, now Fedoseev, he could win. Yeah, Fedoseev, I forgot. Yeah. Because Fedoseev can go on insane run because he's Fedoseev. Nobody else can go on insane run, just Fedoseev. Yeah, Fedoseev is insane. So Fedoseev could lose any match 2-0 and win any match 2-0. Yeah, Fedoseev doesn't know what drawing means. He doesn't understand it. There's no translation. He's like, what's a draw? All he knows is play like a lunatic, play instantly, prepare everything, and play perfect. That's all he knows. If he does that, he wins all of his games. Fedoseev, yeah. Yeah. Of all the people who can win the event, he's the most likely to go 0-2 and lose a match. Because he's crazy like Fox News. Yeah. Fedoseev. Go Fedoseev. Yeah, but we pronounce all the names wrong. That's easy. Okay, this may be the worst game ever played. And the last 25 moves of this game was like both sides made 25 blunders. This is a terrible game. Probably because it was too hard to play. Like it was too many variations, too complicated, too many passed pawns. So they just played terrible. Terrible. Like really terrible. And so when we're done looking at the game, I'm going to put it on the stupid caps thing. And if it says like 98-99, I'm never going to stop crying. Because they played so badly. Okay. So black was completely winning with no counterplay for white. Black was just up a piece. And actually, I want to go back because there's a move I just don't understand. I understand people blundering. I understand. This blunder I don't understand. Sometimes I don't understand. Let me go back. I'm going to show you the move I don't understand. Okay, Rook H7 is horrible. Okay. Okay, this I don't understand. I don't understand this move. I got nothing. Yeah, I mean, he gives this pawn up with check. Why? Like, don't give that pawn up with check. And even stupider, but not really, was rook takes c7. Rook takes c7 is insane. This pawn's defended. So if you take with the knight, here you just move your king or something. It doesn't matter what you do, but okay, here. I'm up a piece. This is like resignable almost for white. White's down a piece. I mean, it's just nonsensical to just give all your pawns up with check. He's like, this pawn will win. No, it won't. He's just not patient. Just win this pawn later, but keep your pawns. Okay, so that was terrible. All these moves are terrible. All of them are just horrible. Okay. I don't care about that. I'm going to get to the part that I care about. I literally don't care about that. Yeah, there's been 0 good moves so far, like in the last 10 moves. They're all terrible. Okay, so the point is if you take it, I discover check and I win your rook. Okay. F6 loses, and G6 actually draws. Pushing the pawn near the king instead of playing G6 where the king can't stop it. What? This doesn't help. I mean, that pawn stopped. Okay. So in this position, black played this ridiculous move. Instead of check, which also stops rook a6, but it defends the pawn. It defends this pawn. Oops. Knight c5 doesn't defend the a pawn. This is completely winning for black. This is a draw again. All right. And this is a draw. And all these moves are really bad, but they're the kind of bad moves you would play and be like, why are they bad? And if you're 2,700, you're like, it's appalling how bad they are. This move is another level of bad. This is a drawn position. Not only is it a drawn position, if it's black to move, it's a drawn position. And white made the worst move anybody that rating has ever played. It's such a bad game. Played here, allowing check and rook a4. What? How do you allow check rook a4? The only way you can lose is if the guy queens his pawn. You let him queen his pawn. Ugh. So mad. Okay. He plays on till mate. He's down a queen. He just literally doesn't care. Also, playing queen f8 instead of queen g7 is ridiculous. Why would you play queen f8 instead of queen g7? What? Ridiculous. Okay, so fine. Yeah, now black actually did something cool. So now white's at an Eric Rosen. Oh no, my rook. That's why he played, king g6. Take the rook at stalemate. Okay. Played here, which is good. Yeah. And now I really like what black did. This was really impressive. He checked, which is right. And then here he played a really good move. Now every move wins. You can't find a move that, well, you guys could. But every move wins for black. But this is the best move. This is the only move of the game I liked. King takes g5. And then he let him mate him. Queen and then mate. I like that. I mean, that's so bad. That's how I play. I mean, one of these guys could be world champion and play worse than me. Ivić won the tiebreak 2-0. Let's see. I did something. What did I do? What? Let's see what this crazy thing is. It seems like a trick. I don't know what that is. Ridiculous. Everything is ridiculous. All right. Anyway, it's a cool final position. Yeah, I want to see the Caps score. I won't show it to you, but I want to see it because the end was so bad. It was so bad. It was just bad. Whenever I think the game is the worst game ever played by two super GMs, it says they played like 96. Yep. White played 96.7. Black played 95.8. It says White made 3 blunders, 3 mistakes, and 4 inaccuracies. When I make 4 inaccuracies, 3 blunders, and 3 mistakes, I played like 50. And Black had 2 mistakes, 3 inaccuracies, and 1 missed win. But somehow it's a perfect game. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, every move was a mistake. But somehow it was great. See, the thing is, the reason these games get high scores where every move is a blunder is because the moves that aren't blunders, the moves that are like fine, they're really good. So if you play a game, like a blitz game, and you make, let's say, 6 blunders, your other moves aren't good either. Right? Like, if you play a 15-move game, you might play 15 best moves. These guys in a 15-move game play 40 best moves and 2-3 blunders. That's better than 15 best moves and 10 excellent moves and 30 good moves. I mean, their moves are better than your moves. When they blunder like that and throw away wins and draws, that makes me furious because that's more important. $2. That's right. The engine literally doesn't care. Yeah. All right. And you're banned. Yeah. Well, the Caps thing, it's irrelevant. It has no meaning to how well you played. They shouldn't have it because it gives you false, it doesn't, Obviously, if somebody's 1,100 and they play 99 3 games in a row, they're cheating. But if you play 60, then you play 95, then you play 68, then you play 97, then you play 50, you're like, wow, look at those games I played well. Empty Go Board subscribe. Good. Okay, Atari. Yeah. All right. I want to ban the worst in chess, but I'll let somebody else ban them. Okay. Now, as you all know, this position occurred in game 2 yesterday. Magnus versus Wojtaszek in the slow chess. And Magnus played g4. The next day, today, it was in Svidler Vitiugov. And this is before I was working with Danny. So this was him and Ifan looked at this, I guess. Anyway, Svidler thought a long time here, even though it was a 25-minute game. Because, he's like, why is Vitiugov repeating this line where Magnus got a great position? That's probably what he was thinking. And he was like, all right, Magnus played g4. Okay, fine. Okay, now in the game that was played between Magnus and Wojtaszek, the Polish player took an f4, and I don't know, like 4 moves later, White was winning, and then he didn't win. And he played d5, Nikita, which I assume is prep. d5's not bad, so maybe it is prep. It would be weird if it wasn't, that he's repeating a game Magnus won yesterday. He's playing the losing side, and he's like, what do I do now? So probably he prepared d5. I don't know. Okay, takes is correct. And knight takes d5 is like a losing blunder. So I literally don't understand why he's following a game that was played yesterday. He plays a novelty, and then after white responds with the only move, he blunders. So I don't know. I got nothing. We didn't interview Vitiugov because, we didn't interview him. Mr. Coleman subscribed. Right, this prep I don't understand. If it's not prep, I also don't understand. Like, if it's not prep, why are you playing a bad line and then playing a worse move and then losing? If it is prep, it's really bad prep. Okay, so he sacrifices a piece. So he's down a piece. And he has compensation, but, he doesn't have enough compensation. He's got no pawns for the piece. He has nothing. He just has to hope that this pin will work out. If he wins his knight back, it's a draw. If he doesn't win his knight back, he loses. So rook a8's the right move. Okay, and he gets out of the pin. Seems good. A strengthening move, I don't know. Okay, a4 is, I think that's really good because he wants to play rook a3, and he did. So that's good. Okay, queen e4 is a bad move. And I think he has to play rook c8 so that rook a3 is impossible. And I think it's hard to play rook c8 because he played rook d8 like the move before. So it's psychologically not easy to do that. And, white's probably winning, but black has more chances there. Yeah, and rook a3 is good. Now rook c8's not good because it's too late. Yeah, that's just too late. He's down a piece. Truth hurts. Trade queens. The engine actually says black should trade queens and lose. But, he doesn't want to trade queens. He's down a piece. Knight d1, always retreat. He's just up a piece here. No compensation. Yeah, I wouldn't put my king here because I'd be too afraid. But yeah, the engine says it's fine. But I wouldn't do it. Too afraid. Yeah. And now in this position, he came up with a brilliant idea. And what's funny about the brilliant idea is it's the only way to win. So in this position, black wants to play g6 check and bishop f8 checkmate. Always play bishop f8 checkmate. This is why I wouldn't play king h5. I'd be afraid of getting checkmated. But I think Svidler sees more than I do. Now Svidler can actually take this pawn now, which is winning, but he checked first, and then he took it. Yeah, and then it's funny is that black's getting checkmated. If you go here, the engine actually announces mate. Thanks for the subscription. He actually did do that, and he got mated. The engine move is to take this, and then, white wins. So he takes, and this is forced mate. Yeah, here comes the knight. Knight here, here, knight here, 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 and so forth. So he has to play h6, otherwise I mate you. I have 5 and I mate. Takes, check, and then did he resign here? Yeah. This is mate like really soon. The engine line is takes, check, here, king here, threatening rook h7 mate. So this is the only move that stops it. And then this is the coolest mate, but there's like 10 other mates. Yeah. So very bad preparation and very good play by Svidler. Although I would be afraid to play king h5, but I'm sure that he saw if king here that he was winning like that. Yeah, I'm sure he saw that. King here, bishop f8, g6 mate. That you can't do that. But human's going to do that because black might win. Yeah. So he did look a little crazy, but he figured it out. He calculates better than I do. Yeah, very, very bad opening preparation by Vitiugov. They play the whole Magnus game, and then 2 moves later, he's lost. He's fighting for a draw, but, he's fighting for a sandwich. So I don't know. Svidler is capable of playing well, but I don't believe it because he's too old. I don't believe it. I don't think you can play really well for a month when you're in your 40s like that. Especially when you start playing, if he's playing Karjakin and Duda and Magnus and MVL and Grischuk, and it's the end of the tournament, I'm not betting on the older player. I don't believe it. He could beat Shankland. That's a 50-50 match. Either one could win. But he's not going to beat like the 2750 pluses when he's been playing chess for a month because it's too hard. Is Svidler like 44? How old is Svidler? I think he's more than 44. Let's see. Svidler on the roof. Man, Svidler Grunfeld. That's the first thing that came up. Yeah, he's 45. Yeah, and 45-year-olds don't play chess for a month and beat 2700s every game. The only thing worse than a 45-year-old playing strong grandmasters is a 58-year-old. You hear me talking, Kasparov? I ain't through making fun of you by damn sight. I'm going to get medieval on your ass. I think the next time I'm doing commentary, because I'm probably not doing it tomorrow, but I might do it at the end if Anand doesn't want to do it anymore. Probably he'll do it. But anyway, next time I do commentary, I'm going to refer to Kasparov as Gary 2.5 out of 18 Kasparov. See if I get in trouble for that. God damn. Vichy can still win the World Cup? No. He cannot. Incorrect. Frankly, delicious. Man, eat other people's food. That's just my game. Somebody took a bite out of crime here. I don't know. Got some Middle Eastern food, but, the women didn't eat much of their food. So, it was a lot of food. Yeah. Yeah, I knew Vichy before you were born. Vichy ain't winning the World Cup because he's not playing in it, and he won't play the next one either. And if he did, he wouldn't win. Wow. You were banned, and your children's children. Nobody banned that guy? Terrible. The chances Shanklin wins the World Cup this year, this tournament, is the same as mine. 0. Would Vichy have a chance if he played? No. Absolutely not. Gorchkina is going to win the women's. Man, Gorchkina is good. God damn. She's not like she's the best woman in the world. She's good. Like, she could beat anybody. She could beat Magnus. Gorchkina is good, and she's 22. So I wouldn't be surprised when she's 25 if she's 2,700 FIDE. I wouldn't be surprised when she's in her late 20s if she's top 10 in the world. Gorchkina is good. There's good and there's really good. And Gorchkina is better than that. Frankly, ridiculous how good she is. Yeah. I love banning people. Ivanchuk, he shows up, but Ivanchuk's older than me, right? Yeah, so that's not good. Frankly, a go-go. Ridiculous. They can complain all they want, then they get banned. I want to ban, Mikhail Tamankin because he spelled Carlsen wrong, but I won't. Would Hakarov have a chance if he played? He'd have a better chance than Anand, but, he'd have a 10% chance to win, maybe less. Maybe 5%. Yeah, Hikaru's slow game is not what it used to be. So, he has really good chances in the tiebreaks. In rapid and blitz, I'll bet on him against almost anybody. But in the slow chess, there's like 10 people at least that I'm betting on against him in the slow chess. I guess he doesn't really have a chance. Oh, yeah, the games are great. That's correct. I did eat in the last 2 minutes, but it was off camera. Carlsen's chance of winning right now? 45%. 2-game matches, so you're not a big favorite to win when it's 2-game matches. All right. And last but not least, why 45%? Why not? How accurate are Yasser's stories? Not too accurate. He doesn't mean to be inaccurate. It's just he's trying to remember stuff from 30, 40, 50 years ago, and he don't remember them right. So it's not his fault. Not too accurate. No. Frankly, ridiculous. Why do I have the whole game here? I don't want to show the whole game. Why did I do that? What's wrong with me? Terrible. This is what I wanted to show. No. That's right. That's funny. I need like a thing. I took my thing. I need paper towel, and there was a roll of paper towel in here. Was it over there? Damn, they just took it. I always need paper towel in here because I'm always making a mess. But my cup is bleeding. Terrible. Let me get some paper towel. You guys talk amongst yourselves. Try to get a second train going. It's been a while. Get the second train going. I get a paper towels. Oh, there it is. It's behind the monitor. When Anand visited me in Brussels in '88, we saw the worst movie ever. Ever. I think it was called Salsa, but the tagline was Salsa, it's hot. And they're like doing salsa dancing the whole movie. It's not a good movie. Yeah, all we did was make fun of it for like a week. And what's funny is, yeah, my story's accurate. No, it's not. It was in English, and they used French subtitles. And now, even though this is over 30 years ago, it's 33 years ago, I'm still right. You don't forget something like this. The guy in the movie, because they're teenagers, they're like, I'm going to kick your ass. That's what he said. And the translation in French was, Je vous administre une correction. Which translates to, I'm going to administer a correction. That's how the French say, I'm going to kick your ass. Salsa, it's hot. Yeah, I got to see if the name of the movie was Salsa, or if it was called Salsa, It's Hot. That's even funnier. Salsa movie. There it is. Salsa is a 1988 romance film directed by Rufus, starring Doofus. The film is about a Puerto Rican dancer who decides to enter a salsa dancing contest. It earned a Razzie Award nomination for Rosa as Worst New Star. Robbie Rosa. Worst New Star. Salsa or seltzer, that's right. Budget $6 million, box office $8.8 million. Oh, yeah. There's a plot? It says plot. In a nightly escape from his day job as a mechanic, Rico enters his true element, the wild exuberance of La Luna, a salsa club located in East Los Angeles. Dreaming of making himself and Vicky, his girlfriend, the king and queen of salsa, he pours all of his energy into winning the grand salsa competition. But the salsa club's owner is gorgeous, and she sets her sights on making Reno her dance partner. Rico must decide what drives him, his ambition or his heart. It has a really good cast, except for one thing. What? Terrible. Ooh, Tito Puente's in it. Yeah, that's the worst. That's one of the worst movies ever. Salsa, it's hot. I can see the poster for the movie. It's hot. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't hot. All right, now there's a movie for you. Yeah, I already got that, Assassin. Somebody texted that to me. It sounds like a box office smash. They did the mash. They did the monster mash. I sang that at karaoke once because it was Halloween. Yeah. Everybody just says salsa or seltzer? That's what everybody says? Terrible. Favorite David Lynch movie? I already answered that 20 times on my stream. You're banned. She wore blue velvet. Yeah, Blue Velvet's good. Yay, Rick and Morty. Hooray. Yeah. Anand never insults. He's the nicest. I would insult Anand all day. He would never insult me. And he would just laugh. He literally doesn't care. He knows he's 5-time world champion, 2,800, and a billionaire. And he knows who I am. So, takes it in stride. Took a woman on a first date to Blue Velvet. God damn. The woman who sleeps with a manfish? Yeah. Yes. And I'm going to tell you something about that movie. Karen hated that movie. God damn. If Karen was in here, she'd just destroy our chess center just by mentioning that movie. She hated that movie. God damn. I don't remember the name of it, but I remember how much she hated it. Yeah, it won Best Movie. Karen was furious. Yeah. Karen almost went down to Hollywood to just destroy everything. Yeah. Yeah, Shape of Water. Man, did she hate that movie. God damn. She was furious. When she comes in here, I'm going to talk about it, and she might just start breaking stuff in the chess center. Wow, did she hate that. Another movie she hated that was up for Academy Awards, and she hated this movie more, I think, I'm going to ask her, was Get Out. The Jordan Peele movie. Man, did she hate that. Michael Shannon's the greatest person who ever lived. Right. Yeah. Claude Shannon. What? Is it Michael Shannon? Okay, maybe. Oh, Karen loved Birdman. We love Birdman, yeah. I like No Country for Old Men a lot. A friend of mine who's a screenwriter in Los Angeles, that's like his least favorite movie ever. No accounting for taste. The Blunder opening, you are correct. He was great in Boardwalk Empire. He was good in Man of Steel, because somebody had to be good in it. Nobody likes Mountain Dew. Well, if Spencer was here, he would tell you There Will Be Blood is the best movie ever. I prefer No Country for Old Men, but I think I'm in the minority. Karen really liked Birdman. F9F9 subscribed. How come we didn't get a train started? What's going on? Tommy Lee Jones is great. I like when Tommy Lee Jones was in a movie where he was a Harvard student and he was a Harvard student. I like that. He showed them. Paper Chase, I guess? Was it Paper Chase? Too long ago. Right, Barton Fink. When I saw Barton Fink, I was like, whoever that guy is, he's a genius. And he won Best Supporting Actor, and it was Michael Lerner. I was like, that guy's great. And he won Academy Award. So I was right. I was like, man, that guy's really good. Yeah, I like Barton Fink. Barton Fink. Barton Fink. That movie's too confusing because I've read everything about the movie and I've seen the movie and I'm still not 100% sure if the John Goodman character is an imaginary character, as some people have indicated. I'm not sure if I want him to be an imaginary character. Now, if you like John Goodman, I'm not saying you like John Goodman, but if you do like John Goodman, I'm not saying it, but if you do, John Goodman's greatest role ever, pause for effect. Oh, wait a minute. It might be the movie whose name I can't remember. You know, The Dude? What's The Dude? What's that movie called? Actually, he was good in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? That's true. Big Lebowski. Okay. He was really good in Flight. He's not in the movie too much, but when he is, he's great in Flight. The Denzel Washington movie, man, he's really good at that. Although, yeah, I guess, Big Lebowski. Yeah. Yeah, but when he's in the movie, he's the best. Yay, 100 centidues. Now, what some of you don't know is that on Brother, Where Art Thou, George Clooney was begging to sing himself. And the German directors, the Coen brothers, said, "Ich don't think so." They're not German, but for that joke they were. Man, that movie wouldn't have been as good if they let George Clooney sing. Terrible. The only thing that matters is it looked like he was singing, so that's good enough. Well, yeah, terrible. Yay, it's Pietro. You're the best. Pietro, come to America. Come on. Come to Atlanta. Stop being in Rome all the time. I haven't heard of half of the movies you're saying, and the ones I have heard of I haven't seen. Why isn't Karen in here? Come on. Come on, Karen. Stream with me. Yay, go Pietro. We're probably going to come to Italy before you come to the U.S. That's my guess. Man, that was good. Okay. So we saw this position. This was the first position Danny and I saw today. And we were discussing how black would defend the pawn. C5, queen b6, bishop c5. We didn't really like any of them. And it turns out the engine likes bishop c5 the best. It says it's about equal, but we preferred white. Although now that Danny says he likes white, maybe I should change that. Okay. Anyway, Dubov literally didn't care and played bishop d6 And both of us were like, where's the compensation? And I was really happy Esipenko took on d4 because I didn't understand what the compensation was. I was like, okay, now we can see. Now, he played rook f8 here, and the engine once was wanting to play bishop here, check, then rook e8, which doesn't make any sense. Okay, this is good. And the engine says that white's not winning here. That black's fine, which I don't agree with. I never disagree with the engine because I'm wrong, but I'm pawn up. You have nothing for a pawn. So I don't get it. Why does the engine not say black's lost, and why did Dubov give up his d4 pawn? I don't know. Now, hopefully I'll get to ask somebody good about this pawn sacrifice, you know, like MVL or Magnus or somebody, and be like, well, what was that? And they'll be like, oh yeah, black has good compensation. Then I guess I lose. So, all right. He played c3. I mean, white's a pawn up. Bishop c5. The engine hates that move. But I don't understand. White's up a pawn. b4 is okay. Bishop e1 is good. Now, queen e3, which is the engine move, I would have a lot of trouble playing that. But pinning my knight and lining up my queen with his rook. And he plays it because he wants to play queen g5, and then knight f5 check, etc. But I would have trouble playing this move. Okay, king g8 is correct. And then e5, the other reason to play queen e3. The engine doesn't like e5. And then takes. The engine still doesn't say that white's winning here. It says after f6 he's okay, which I don't believe. Okay, that's just a blunder. What happened was Dubov had a psychological problem here that I sacrificed a pawn. I didn't get a lot for it, but okay, now I got it back. And his position's in ruins. Knight takes b4 is a really bad move because white obviously plays knight f5. You can't give your knight away. You can't take him. You can't take that. And this is ridiculous for black because this is coming here. So this is very bad judgment by Dubov. And it's also unusual judgment for Dubov. He's usually not in a hurry to get back a sacrificed pawn. He wants to get compensation, which I never saw. Now his position's bad because he's got g6 in and his bishop's in the wrong place on b6. So his king is frankly terrible. It's like Purina. That's how bad it is. Okay, so he trades rooks. If you take this, I take this, and I'm up a piece because you can't take it with the queen and you can't take it with the pawn. And same with rook takes. So he played here, knight d6. God damn. Then bishop f5. That was a nice move. I didn't see that coming. That's beautiful. c4. Man, horrible. And then knight c8. Knight c8's unnecessary, but it does win like pretty quickly. And the reason is if you play rook e8, which is the only reasonable move that doesn't lose material, you play knight b6, queen b6, and then e6, or rook d7, and that's it. This knight's not playing, and you got choking on my own rage. Yeah, I showed this actually on this stream. I showed e6, bishop g6, and it resigns. So he played the correct queen takes e5, and I mean white's just up in exchange for nothing. And black didn't defend very well. So that didn't work out well. Now here the engine saying c5 is the best move. And I'm furrowing my brow in a vain attempt. Okay, it took me a while. If you take it, which the engine does not do, and you play king g7, this wins your bishop. And if you play bishop f8, always play bishop f8. Then this is even worse. Truth hurts. Yeah, I think if he saw c5, he would have played it if he saw that this was losing. Okay, but whatever. Still just up in exchange for nothing. Resigns. Damn. Yeah, Dubov just played bad that game. His pawn sack was no good, winning the pawn back. Hey, I need you. I was asking for you.
I'm almost ready to come.
No, it's very important questions that aren't chess related.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were discussing movies,
Yeah.
and they brought up a movie that you really hated, and I told them another movie you hated, and I didn't know what you hated more, but I guessed. Then somebody said Birdman. I said, you love that movie.
Oh, yeah, I love that.
Okay. Are you ready for the movies you hate?
Let's see if I
Okay,
agree.
remember the water movie where the woman's in love with this, like, alien fish guy?
Yeah, the Pan's Labyrinth.
Right, you hated
Don't
that.
remember. I hated it because I felt like it was pretentious.
And it won Best Movie.
I know.
Okay. Now
Sorry.
here's another movie you hated.
Shape of Water.
Now,
Horrible.
here's a movie you hated, and I think you hated it more than Shape of Water.
Probably. 'cause
Yeah, I thought you
didn't-
hated Shape of Water. Yeah.
I mean, I liked some things about Shape.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Uh-huh.
Get Out.
Um,
The Jordan Peele movie where they're trying to take his brain and put it into other people.
yeah, I didn't like that.
Which one did you not like more?
Get Out.
Yeah.
Definitely.
But you like Birdman.
I loved Birdman.
Yeah. We were talking about No Country for Old Men, which I assumed you liked, but I'm not sure.
I love it, and I've also read the book.
Yeah.
Loved the book.
Yeah.
Loved the movie.
Now they're mad at you for not liking something. I don't know what. Yeah, the water alien fish movie won an Oscar, right? That's a good way of describing it. Get Out is a great movie. It was great.
It was horrible.
Yeah, she didn't like that. So my friend Craig Berger, who's a screenwriter in LA, his least favorite movie ever is No Country for Old Men. He hated it.
What?
I'm like, what? You can't hate a Coen Brothers movie. They're all great.
It's great.
Right.
And the book's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't.
They're complaining about you not liking Get
Wait
Out.
a minute. Weird Gus might be agreeing with me. The ending for The Shape of Water was terrible. Now, wait. Did you say other things that we missed, Weird Gus?
Did you see Flight with Denzel Washington? He's an alcoholic pilot.
No.
It's a really good movie, but the best part of the movie is John Goodman. He's in the movie for like a second, and he takes over the movie when he's in it. It's really funny.
Now you can see this bruise so bad on here. Ben's been,
Yeah, Karen's like, I don't like this movie, and I'm like, psh, terrible.
Well.
No, we love the director. We
Yeah.
love Pan's Labyrinth.
I
Okay?
love
We
Pan's
just-
Labyrinth.
yeah.
We discovered, and that's when we knew it was true love, when we discovered that we both loved Pan's Labyrinth. I had a pan.
Hey, you should give your score sheet.
I could get.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm on Chess TV, and I'm done looking at the
I
games
wasn't
today.
really gonna come on right now, but I guess I could.
Yeah, come on.
Can I come in like 5 minutes?
Oh, yeah, but get your score sheet.
Okay, and then I'll come back with a score sheet.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that was a hard game. Yeah, I'll bring it right back and we'll do my game. I would one. Am I a GM too?
Yeah, she's the owner of this establishment.
Somebody
Even better.
at karaoke referred to me as chess master.
Chess with Obi said he's coming here today. I'm not saying he didn't.
Yeah.
And then he's streaming.
What?
He's streaming.
He could do both.
He can't come now. It's too late.
Anyway, Deepak made fun of me.
Yay,
He laughed
$9.99. No
until
longer
his
muscle.
throat was hurting.
Yeah.
All right, I'll be right
Just
back.
got my rated. Yay, thank you. See, he's an ex-clam. No longer muscle. Yeah. Who didn't eat their? Was that you? Is that yours?
That's me.
Okay.
I'll still.
You guys were supposed to split this. There was a million of them, and there still are. Yeah.
That's terrible. These are all mine.
Oh yeah, she took hers.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. All right. Yoink.
All right, I'll be back.
Mm-hmm. Yay! Free falafel. Wow. Great exit. She'll be back. Go Pam. I finally get that joke. Yeah. The reason people don't get better at chess is twofold. One is, stop being so, hard to chew. One is, they don't have a good sight of the board, and they make bad moves that they know they're bad, but they don't know they're bad when they play them. It's not like they weaken their king, and I say you weakened your king, and they're like, what? That's not what's happening. They hang a rook, and their opponent plays queen e5 check and takes a rook, and they're like, what? Ah! But they just never stop doing it. Okay, a good example. Well, first of all, I want to do a caps, because I'm really mad at how Dubov played this game. So he probably played 99. I'll give you a funny example of what I'm talking about. Delicious. He played 87.5, and White played 96.4. All right. Okay, this is a well-known position in the wing gambit. And people who play the wing gambit play bishop b2 or knight f3 here. In the 1980... It's either 3, 4, or 5. I can't remember. I want to say 83, but I could be wrong. Shirazi had White against Jack Peters. Jack Peters is an IM you've never heard of. In California, he probably should be a GM, but he's older than me. That's possible. I'm not even sure he's alive. But anyway, Shirazi played this, and then Jack Peters played that, and Shirazi resigned. Because he hung a rook. Now, Shirazi, who's an IM, he hangs a rook very infrequently. In fact, that's the only example I know. It's a funny example because it's early. Low-rated players just hang everything every game. And they're like, I never get better. And that's because when your opponent has a winning move, you just never see it. You're not thinking about your opponent's moves, you're thinking about your own. So when your king is exposed, that has to be ingrained in whatever brain you have. And your rook's on an open diagonal, and then they intersect here. The answer is pi. And whenever you blunder and miss a tactic, the only way to get better at chess is to remember that tactic, not do it anymore, not blunder anymore, and do that tactic to somebody else. And most people who are between 500 and 1500 their whole life, they don't do that. They make the same blunder every game. And the other thing they do is they play crazy on purpose because they would like to win by playing crazy. There's some kind of adrenaline rush. I sacked 2 pieces and I won. They prefer that to I want to draw an ending because my opponent got bored and wanted to go eat. And I just like winning. I don't really care how I do it. So there's 2 mistakes that weaker players make. One is they make the same tactical mistake over and over again by accident. And they also purposely give their pieces away because they have compensation. I guess. Oh. So when Karen shows her game, the strategy and the opening knowledge and who has a slight advantage will not matter. None of that matters. All of your chess coaches teach you things that don't matter. That's all they do. They're like, look at this. Do you understand this strategy now? And you're like, what? What strategy? And you guys, I mean, this is irrelevant for you guys. You guys hang your queen every move. So it doesn't matter how you play. And at the lower levels, there's just lots of blundering. And I remember, if you think I'm mean and that I'm making fun of you and so forth, Lawrence Trent, we were talking about teaching once because he wanted more students. And he said, when you're under 2,200, don't you just need to do tactical puzzles until you're 2,200? He thought, he's not right, but he thought opening memorization irrelevant, endgame memorization irrelevant, understanding positional ideas irrelevant. It's like, just do tactics. And when you're good at tactics, you'll get to 2,200. Then if you want to get better than that, then you got to learn like an opening and a positional idea and what a weak pawn is and what an open can. But I mean, that just shows you how important tactics are. Is no matter what you understand in chess, when you make a one-move blunder like Shirazi did, it doesn't matter how good you are. If Magnus was Magnus, which he is, and once a game he decides to blunder a rook, and every other move he's Magnus, and it doesn't matter, he's 1,200. He lose every game. But he doesn't decide to blunder a rook every game. He never decides that. Terrible. Yeah. And if you look at your tournament games where you played slow chess, and you analyze them with an engine or with the caps or what game report, you make blunders every game. You've never played a game without a blunder in your life. And when you don't make a blunder, it's because your opponent, every move they made was a blunder and it didn't matter what you did. Your opponent hung 7 pieces the first 10 moves. So every move you made was winning. But if you're like a class player and you play somebody over 2,000 in a slow game, you're going to blunder because that's what you do. And until you stop doing that, you can't get better. Because if you're 1,300 at chess and 1,300 at blundering, and then you get to 2,000 at chess and 1,300 at blundering, you're still 1,300. The blunders are more important. And that's why Grischuk and Karjakin and Magnus, like, they never lose to anybody because they don't blunder. Like, ever. And then Karjakin made that blunder and I showed you. That was good. Yeah. Shirazi blundered. God damn. Terrible. Frankly, ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, obviously trying to learn, who's my man in Amsterdam, he blunders occasionally, but he also will sacrifice material when it's unsound because he likes doing that. And in tournaments where he has 2-3 hours to play, he used to use 10 minutes. So he had 3 issues. And he got rid of the fast issue. He plays slower now. So he's winning some games. And he plays more sane. So he wins a lot more games. But yeah, it's hard not to be insane because that's the way you were brought up. Remember when Karen said she's coming back in 5 minutes? So my guess is she will come back and she won't have her score sheet. That's my guess. She'll be like, oh, my score sheet. Yeah. Stop blundering. Don't play anymore. The only way to stop blundering is to blunder and then look at it and see why you blundered and what you didn't understand and understand it. Then don't do it anymore. It's the same with poker and bridge. People don't get better at poker, the ones who don't, because when they lose or they play bad or whatever, they don't analyze it objectively and figure out how to get better. Bad players don't do that. And what you need to do, no matter how good you are at poker, doesn't matter how good you are, is you need to look at your plays with someone else and have a group discussion, right? So if Phil Hellmuth says, my play was great, and then 5 of his peers say, no, it wasn't, then he should say, oh, let me think about that. Maybe my 5 peers aren't wrong. Or Phil might say, what do you think of this play that I made? Because he's unsure, and the 5 pros say, yeah, that's right. Good job. Okay. So that's how you get better at poker. That's how you get better at chess. That's how you get better at bridge. A friend of mine who was a good bridge player, she said, when I was a bad bridge player, we played bridge events. Then we go to the bar and eat and drink after the event. And we would discuss every hand. And that's how I got better. Right. But poker players don't want to get better. They just want to think that they are unlucky. Right. And what happens is if you play 300 hands in a night and on 2 of them you were unlucky It's pretty good, 2 out of 300. That's not very unlucky. But that's the 2 hands you remember. That's what you blame for your dreary play, and then you just keep doing it. I would have won, but my aces lost to jacks because the guy rivered a jack. Otherwise, I would have won. I mean, that person's not going to get better because that person only looks at the hand they got rivered on and doesn't look at the other, 300 hands. So the 300 hands where they won $200 and they lost $500 on the aces versus jacks, so they're down 300 for the night. Maybe they should have won 3,000 on the other 299 hands. They play terrible. If you see what I'm saying, you don't. But yeah. People who are good at stuff like trial and error, analyze, try to figure it out, and people who aren't good say they're unlucky and they're tired and they forgot, their clock and they didn't know it was touch move and that kid over there was making noise and I didn't want to play in the tournament and my brother came in from out of town and I had to take a half-point bye because I forgot. That's people who don't play chess well. People who play chess well, like Jeffrey Zhang, he loses, which he did a lot against Vidit, then he analyzes and figures out why he lost and tries to play better. Jeffrey doesn't say he was lucky. He doesn't do that, right? He just says, why did I lose? And I better stop losing because that sucks. And he tries to play better. That's what good players do. But you guys don't want to do that because the truth hurts. Psychologically, you don't want to know that you're not good and that you could do things to improve yourself. You just want to be told you're great and you were unlucky. And that's, it's nice psychologically when your chess coach tells you how well you played. And that's not the kind of chess coach I was. Because I want you to get better. I don't want you to be told you play well. Then you're not going to get better. You're like, my coach said I played well. Great. And another problem weak players have is they get fixated on one thing. So you play a 9-round tournament. I'm making it up. And you were winning and you blundered your queen. And then somebody says, how'd that tournament go? And you're like, oh man, in round 5 I was winning and I blundered my queen. That was one move in one game. Or, how'd your tournament go? Oh, in round 7, I sacked my queen and I mated him. That was my best tournament ever. That was one move in one game. That's not how you get better at chess, by looking at your absolute best or absolute worst. If I have a stream where I show you my best 10 games ever, you'll think I'm better than Carlsen. If I show you my worst 10 games ever, you'll think you can beat me every game. That's not how you analyze chess. You got to analyze them all. And then you get, some kind of rating that I have, because, like that. My best games are great. My terrible games are terrible. And my average games used to be okay, and now they're suspicious. And that's how you play chess. Consistency. If you watch somebody play pool, and you're a good pool player, billiards, you know in 5 seconds how good they are. They don't have to shoot the ball. All they have to do is stand, hold their stick, see what their stroke is, see what their bridge is, see how they're looking, see the way they're standing. You know how good they are. Because good players always do the same thing that's really good. And bad players just randomly, random. Etc. Man, Karen's never coming back. I killed a lot of time, too. This is the drink that doesn't end. We only had one train? Man, you guys are the worst. Terrible. All right, let's see that crazy chat denouncing what I said. I would play a terrible game and still won. Right, that's correct. Most of the games you win are terrible, but less terrible than your opponent. Yeah, get better, $500. That's right. You missed everything. The reasons Kasparov were good at chess when he was the best in the world were stuff that doesn't happen now that he's older. None of that stuff he did happens. He doesn't have a team of people telling him what to do. He doesn't have the energy. He never studies openings. And this is the part that nobody talks about. He just says he's old. Everybody plays people of their own strength or better. Magnus is playing 2700s and 2600s and so forth. Kasparov does nothing. Kasparov like plays a simul against millionaires, and then he's like, now I'm going to play 2,700 players. Nope. Karen Boyd equals me. Oh, I agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's me.
So the reason you won is Philip Taylor spells his name with 2 L's. There's 1 L here. My middle name's Philip.
Hey, can you unpause this chat?
You love when I unpause the chat.
I can't see what people are saying.
I mean, it's just nonstop. They say nonsense. I give like a 10-minute soliloquy because I was waiting for you. I was like, Karen's never coming.
Oh, sorry.
I told them you wouldn't bring your score sheet. You'd forget, but you remembered it.
I did.
Okay, you did write 1-0, even though you won.
Oh, I did backwards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
But what is your favorite book, movie, and food?
The answer to all 3 is the Simpsons quote. That's why he said it.
Oh.
What's the answer to all 3? It's one answer.
Fries?
No, it's the Simpsons.
I don't watch The Simpsons.
Fried green tomatoes.
Oh.
No. That was. So here's what happened. Apu was getting his groove on. He was dating a different woman every night, sometimes 2 in one night.
But my game.
Okay, hold on. And then he got the lotus flower from his mother saying it's time for your arranged marriage. He didn't want that. He was dating every woman in town. So he pretended he was married to Marge. Mm-hmm. Then at the end of the episode, they find out that he's not married. So then it's, okay, time for the wedding. Okay. So then at the wedding, he's never seen his bride, and they like take the veil off, and they're about to get married. And he's like, how can I marry you? I know nothing about you. What's your favorite? And she says, the answer to all 3 is fried green tomatoes. So, also, during the ceremony, they're riding on an elephant, because Indian wedding, and the elephant sees a mouse. So it's a cartoon, so the mouse is supposed to scare the elephant, because it's a cartoon. But they decided not to do that. The elephant just smashed the mouse to death instantly. And then Apu said, lucky mouse, because he wanted to get married. Okay. Yeah, truth hurts. Okay, so there's a gentleman living in here in Atlanta. He's not poor. And he donates a lot of money to either us or the Georgia Chess Association. He's 85. He looks like he's 65. Back me up.
Yeah, he's in very good shape.
I mean, he's 85, but if you talk to him, there's no way he's 85. Okay, but he's 85. I mean, but
I wouldn't say he donates a lot of money, but he certainly donates plenty.
Consistent.
And I'm grateful for it.
Yeah. Okay, thanks, DS Panda. You're the best. Okay, so he's on his floor, I assume, 1,500.
He's actually off the floor right
so
now.
15 something.
Yeah, he's
okay?
15 something.
85, Yeah. Gets lessons for Spencer unless he doesn't anymore.
He
Used
does.
to. Okay. Karen played the French, and that's one of the explanations as to why she has, black eye. Okay. The advanced variation.
I heard you talking about the French on one of the streams recently, and how you don't play it anymore.
Right.
And this is why. And I guess it was when you were commentating. You told me to play the French.
Yeah, French is fine. You won. Yeah, it doesn't matter what opening you play. You just play what you like. You like the French. You don't like any opening.
That's not true.
You like the Sicilian, but you always lose.
I love the London.
That's true. Okay.
As white, black, I don't.
So normally white plays c3 instead of knight here. So now you could take this because that like ruins his center. But you transposed. Okay, fine.
I wish I had after me.
Okay. Now, when you learned this opening, you were going to do that, but you never do. You play here, so now you're playing the normal main line. Now, this is very funny. Nobody in the world who's good plays a5. However, when I played the French, I played a5 here.
Oh, yeah?
I was the only one. Although I wasn't good. I was like 2,300. So you played it. And the problem with a5, it does stop b4. But now, as you saw, b5 is hard to defend. So he put a knight in there. And also sometimes c4 is good later, which he also played. Right. The main move is c4, which is explosive, except it's not. And you can also just let the guy, do that. You can just play like f6 attacking here, or develop a piece, or move your knight, But okay, you played a5, which is what I used to play before you were born. And he played a4, which is a little quick. I'm not sure that's the right move. Okay. Now, the problem with playing knight ge7, which it's not a terrible move, is when they take this, you have to take with the queen, but not in this position. Because bishop e3 like traps your queen. So you're going to have to try to win these pawns, which you can do. So, okay. But this is the right move. The engine says you should take this. You actually can't take as a bishop e3.
Well, I wouldn't have known that, so.
Well, you move your queen out, the guy can attack it. Yeah. But this is always an issue when you go here is they take. If they don't take, it's not an issue.
I know it's an issue, but I didn't see that my queen was going to attack.
Right. Well, your queen, that's why you don't move in your, yeah. Okay. So you should play dc. He played here. Now, when I was a little kid, my dad told me something which is true about 70% of the time. So I don't know if it's right or not because it's ingrained. I can't not do, I have to listen to my dad. He said, don't ever put your knight on g6 in these French positions. So this is always bad there. So go here. Okay? And the engine says this is fine. So that 45-year-old advice may be not correct. Yeah, the engine actually likes what you did. Yeah, it says this is fine. Knight g6. Okay.
But is the other one better?
No,
they're similar.
No, yeah. Okay. Now it wants you to take on d4, but this is fine. This is also good. Okay. He played bishop e3. Now you surprised me with your move. I'm not saying it's bad. I was just surprised. You also surprised the engine. Now when he plays bishop here, let me ask you a technical question. If you take, which you didn't do, which way do you think he'll take back? He's got 5 ways to do it. This one hangs his queen. What do you expect?
Probably take with the knight on the knight on f3.
No, you always expect this. That's why they played c3.
See, I didn't.
If you expect them to take with a piece, this pawn is not good.
Oh yeah.
You got that pawn attacked a lot. So if they take with a pawn, which is correct, if they take anything else, it says you're better, because this pawn's weak. The reason I asked you that is after takes, now you can play bishop b4 check and castle pretty quickly. If he plays bishop d2, he played bishop e3, bishop d2. So the engine wants him to go here, but then he played here, here, here. And then you can play rook c8 and castle, and you're all happy. So you should take on d4 in this position. Okay, you played knight a7, confusing the audience. And I thought I was confused until your opponent confused me further.
Yeah.
And your opponent's move is sometimes good, but not here. Not here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what was wrong with my move?
Your move, I should take that, and you have to put a piece on a7, not the most aggressive.
I needed to get rid of that nasty ass.
Right, and the way to get rid of it is here, and then
Get out of my face.
or you can just castle. You literally don't care.
Couldn't take it anymore.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, he played c4, which is explosive. Not the best move. Okay, you took. Then it really hates AB. It says that you're much better after that. It wants him to play CB. Okay, and this is obviously right, because here, your bishop is shallow and pedantic. And the pressure on c4 is gone, so this is solid as a rock, right? And this was first recommended by Ashford and Simpson, unless it's the other two, Peaches and Herb. Which one is it?
I don't know.
Because we're solid. Is it Peaches and Herb or Ashford and Simpson? Nobody knows. Come on, somebody in the chat tell me. Anyone? It's the Simpsons? Boo, boo. They're all looking it up on Google. So I saw something funny yesterday on Twitter. I see a lot of weird things on Twitter because I follow like vegan. I follow things that are weird. But I don't mean to, but vegan I do. Okay. So this person wrote, I don't know who they are, said, I was reading resumes yesterday because we're going to hire somebody. I don't know for what. On the resume it said skills. One of the skills was Googling. Okay. And then the person wrote, we're interviewing that guy tomorrow. So, They're good at Googling. They're good. That's what they wrote. Okay, nobody knows. It's the other one. It's one, right, yeah.
It is
Googling actually has skills.
Some people are.
Yeah.
Some people are better at Googling.
He Googles. Yeah. Googling is a skill. Yeah, he's like, hire that guy. It is Ashford and Simpson. Yeah, they're saying Googling is a skill if you're in IT. They said everybody agrees. Yeah. Now let me tell you a story. When I was a criminal before you guys were born, I had my job. Okay, this isn't a joke. I had my job, and other people had more complicated programming jobs. And I heard them arguing in the other room, and they were saying words, and I know what the hell they were talking about. So you know what I did? No. I went to Google, and I typed in words they were saying, and then I found some people complain, right? And I said, hey, get in here. I said, do any of these answer your question? And they were like, oh my God, that's the answer. And they've been arguing for 3 weeks, and they tried to find out too on the internet, and they couldn't. But I found it in like 5 seconds. I didn't know what I still don't know what they're talking about. It was like Linux and Unix and something, and people were complaining about it, and there was a solution, and they used it, and it worked. So I was the greatest criminal ever. I can't really tell you what I did. I just heard them complaining. I took the words that I heard a lot and put them in Google.
Criminal.
So
Criminal.
We'll talk later.
Oh.
Okay. Now this is very bad because you're attacking everything, right? If he went here, then your bishop on d7 is not going anywhere. Now you're going to take everything, and you did take everything. Like this is all under attack. So now the engine says you're +1, right? And that's not good for me because usually when Karen's invited somewhere, I'm the +1, but not this time. She's +1. Okay, you play DC. That's fine. It prefers this move because once the pawn's not on c3 anymore, the center falls apart like a house of cards, right? Checkmate. Okay, so you play DC, also good. Bishop c4, now it's equal. cd4, good. And your opponent played bishop d4, which is not even an engine move. Okay, I know why it's not an engine move. Okay, after bishop d4, you're very close to winning here. And I don't think you ever played this move. No, you didn't. Yeah, you played bishop c5. I saw this position. I was expecting you to go here.
I thought about checking him.
Yeah, the problem with blocking is this pawn's just hanging. You just win a pawn. It's a free pawn.
Oh, okay.
Take that and your pawn up. And so the engine wants them to do that. And actually, if you want to, you could just go back here. It's the same position, but it's king's on f1. You can't castle. So checking here is good for you. Okay. And this move's okay. I still prefer black. Still prefer black. Okay, he made a bad move here. Very bad. Never trade. He should castle. Right? Yeah. And he did this, and now his bishop's attacked.
Hey, it does look like they're asking whose game this is, and if you look at the game labels, it's wrong.
Not wrong, I just didn't change it. Yeah, this is Karen's game she played with Philip Taylor, which I said before. Okay, and this is the last position of the game I saw. Then I got my car shampooed. Now, when I got to the car wash, the tunnel didn't work where they wash your car, like the thing. But they said, yeah, we could still do the shampoo. So I did the shampoo. It took forever. And then the tunnel worked by that point, so I went back through the tunnel. So I was there forever. Then I did the dog stuff. Okay. Do I have to sleep with a dog in this one? For $1 trillion in Family Guy, who said, do I have to sleep with the dog in this one?
I don't know.
Let's see if anybody knows. Anybody? The answer is funny. I could Google it. Jenna Jameson is correct. Yeah. He was a porn director. And Jenna Jameson says, do I have to sleep with the dog in this one? But he's the director, so she didn't have to. So then, they don't know he's a porn director. They know he's a director. And the family comes and surprises him on set. He's really embarrassed. He doesn't want them there. And when they're walking in, he's like, I'll bet you Sam Jackson's in this movie. He's in every movie. They don't know it's a porn movie. Then they show Brian directing, and it's Sam Jackson and Jenna Jameson. This is Sam Jackson. He's in every movie. Okay. Now, the engine does want you to play knight f4. And what I was thinking was you don't take this, but you play queen b4 check. This is what I thought would happen. I thought if you take...
I didn't even see that.
Well, I thought if you take, he goes here, which you agree. But you could check.
No, I didn't go there.
I still don't know if this is good for black, but the engine says it's good for black. It's not that good for black. It's like
No,
plus
I
one.
didn't even see that.
Yeah, well, queen b4 check. You don't want him to castle. Okay, you castled.
That's frustrating.
Yeah, the truth hurts.
Game
Now it says it's equal. Thanks, G2 Santana, for the sub.
Terrible game.
And then we still need some trains. Could somebody give me like 50 subs?
What's a prawn movie?
Okay. Rook f d8, good. Now this is equal, but I take black all day. Nobody would take white here. It says it's equal, but black has everything. You're not getting mated. You have this. This pawn's weak. I mean, you get mated, then it's worse for you. That's the point of the advance, is to checkmate you. He's not checkmating you, so this is just better for you. Okay, rook d1. We'll never know which one, but it was this one. Thanks, Danny Rivers and Nerdvana123. Another train. Okay. Karen played b6. Excellent. Rook d6. Okay, which is not so good.
Well, it felt very threatening in the moment.
Right, but actually it's threatening because you can threaten it. That's a good move. Yeah, now you got to watch it.
I felt threatened.
Like if it's your move, you can go here. Tricky.
Yeah.
Okay. And he doubled up on the bubble up. Right now, it says you should take, which you did not do.
I didn't want him to get a pass pawn.
And if he gets the pass pawn, you go here. And it's very, 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 very hard to defend that. And by very, I mean he can't defend it. You just take it next move.
Well, I don't know. I just...
Yeah. So now it says you're doing great. All right. So you played queen c7. Always retreat. Thanks, Destroyers 8. Okay, now he's better because you gave him the d file. Rook d4. We'll never know which one. I'm going to look at the rest of the game and see if I can figure it out. Okay, you play queen c1 check, so it's this rook. He's trying to get the Alekhine gun. Not as good as the Feingold gun. Okay, knight f8's good. Always retreat. Queen e4 is reasonable.
No, it's just all jammed in.
You put it in h, that's fine. Queen d3 getting the gun. That's okay. It still wants you to take on d6. Then when he takes back, you blockade the pawn. But that's a hard move to make, but, I mean, he's threatening that. So you played bishop d7. Yeah, you don't want to pin your bishop. Then your bishop can't move. So rook d7 if you're going to play something to d7.
Okay.
Yeah, because then you can play this.
I wasn't sure.
Yeah, pinning your bishop is bad. Now it says you're lost. Thanks, our Bepe or our Beep or our Beep. 10 subs. Hooray, you're the best.
Yay, thank you.
Yeah, you don't want to pin your own pieces.
Okay.
Now, here's what it wants him to do. He wants him to play knight here and then knight here. Yay, good knight. His move is okay. He shouldn't play h3, though. He should play h4. He should play aggressive.
They did bring the knight in.
Yeah. Okay, you played rook a7. Are you playing passive enough?
You don't dig the knife in. I already know it's...
I was just asking. Okay. Then you played here. That's good. Okay. Then rook b7. Solid. Okay, now you're just losing because you're getting squished, and he lets you get unsquished by going here. Okay, now you're equal, but he wanted to go there.
I knew he wanted to go.
Right, but he let you, do stuff.
I knew he was going to get my pawn, but I was going to get stuff too.
Okay, I wonder if king h2 is right. It has to be. Yeah. Then you took on b2. The engine doesn't like it, but I do. Take that. Right.
Yeah, I looked at that for a really long time.
No, I like it.
Because
yeah. Now he blundered again. His blunders are based on the fact that he's not looking at what you're doing. He's looking at what he's doing. Well, doesn't look what you're doing.
We were both getting... I mean, right. He was a lot lower on time than I was.
I mean, he played here, letting you take on f2. Okay. You're still not winning because you're so passive. Okay, then he played knight takes, which is a blunder, and you brilliantly played this. That's correct.
Listen, I was just get out of my face.
No. This is brilliant, and then after this, you played this brilliant move. That's right. Oh, my God.
That's what I'm saying.
That's the greatest tactic in chess history.
Girl got game.
Yeah.
He almost did a head clinch.
No. Rook takes b6 and bishop takes
Like,
b5.
what?
That's like 20 donations right there. That's like 20 subs. Let's go. 20 subs. Yeah, now you're plus 1,000. So Karen didn't blunder. She just got outplayed. Then her opponent blundered and she punished it. Right? Sometimes when she punishes a blunder, she puts on like a teacher's outfit. It's great. 99.99.
Yeah.
Go JA928.
JA928.
Yeah. Yeah, now you're winning.
Yeah.
Okay, took with the queen. C'est pas différence.
And then I think he was just like, wait a minute, what's going on here?
Rook takes is correct. Rook d6. Queen f4 check is correct. King g1. Okay, now what you did wins. There's nothing wrong with what you did. But,
Did I miss him?
yeah. See how this is lined up on the bubble up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought about, four king.
Yeah, so you checked
Darn.
first, just for, to teach him a lesson.
Yeah.
Then you go here. Then that's it. Because you're winning a bishop. And you were just like, give me everything. So this is also good. Take on d6. Yeah, and you took on a5. You were at a4. Good enough. Yeah. Now you get to torture him. That's good.
Yeah, I kind of struggled a little bit. And then
Well, you tortured him. Good.
Figure it out.
It doesn't matter. You're always going to win.
I was just trying to...
So the more you torture him, the better. Now the engine's going to say e5 is fine, but don't play e5
Okay.
because that's his only hope, and there's a brick against that. Yeah. So
I knew it. I thought about it, but
Yeah,
it seemed like I needed to do it.
You do it later. Yeah, move your knight to a good square. Yeah, leave this here.
Okay.
Like push these pawns and move your king up. Leave that.
I was
blocked.
very careful to leave my queen
Thanks, Carl with C. Thanks, Edward James.
on the F file.
Yeah.
I was wary of that situation.
Now for $1 trillion, if he was Edward James Olmos, the actor,
Yeah.
then Edward James Olmos, then Death on Family Guy and Peter,
Yeah.
what's their favorite body part of Edward James Olmos?
I don't know.
His ass.
Uh,
So what happened is, Death shows Peter a picture of his girlfriend, and he says, "Wow, nice ass." He says, "Oh wait, that's Edward James Olmos." And he takes it back and he says, "Here it is." He goes, "Wow, that's a nice ass. That's also Edward James Olmos. I can't find a picture of my girlfriend." And while he's doing that, Peter's like putting the pictures away. He says, "I'm gonna need that picture of Edward James Olmos back." All right.
there are a lot of
This guy met Olmos, and his name's Edward James, so that's probably why. Yeah.
there are a lot of homoerotic jokes on Family Guy.
Right, there's a lot of gay stuff going on in Family Guy.
That's right.
A lot. Okay. Most of them are jokes, and then they apologize later. All right, take. Okay, here, see how you're up 2.99? It's going to say like 1.2 after that. Oh, it says you're fine, because you're so much material up. It literally doesn't care. Okay, now it's the pressure.
I saw.
Pressure. E4. Okay. Still winning, but barely, because you're separating your pawn from the rest of your guys.
Oh.
So you're risking losing it.
Okay.
Queen here and bishop here. You're not. See, it's like
So
Monopoly.
what is the way that I should win? It's just
Now-
get my knight involved.
Yeah, let me tell you something.
And leave the pawn. Hang on.
Yeah.
It's important.
Yeah, I'm going to
Get
tell
my
you.
knight involved and then leave the pawns where they were.
I'm going to tell you.
Okay.
That's part of it. Okay, now I've made this analogy before, and nobody understands it,
Yeah.
which means I'm probably insane, but it makes perfect sense to me, so I might be right and everybody else is insane. Okay, I'm serious. Nobody understands this analogy.
I'm listening.
Okay, in Monopoly, when you're building houses and hotels, okay, you're not allowed to have a big difference in number of houses on properties that are your properties. So you have Boardwalk and Park Place. You can't say, "Oh, I'm not going to put a house on Park. I'm not going to put anything on Park Place. But I'm going to put a hotel on Boardwalk." They have to be close, like one house, 2 to 1, 2 to 2, right? They have to be. You're not allowed to do it the other way.
I don't think that's true.
It is true. Yeah. Yeah. Build evenly, right?
And you talking in Monopoly or?
Yes. Facts. Yeah. In Monopoly, if you have the ones that are together and you're building on them, you can't.
All right.
You can't. You can't do that.
All right.
And in chess, it's the same thing. If you want to play well, these are your 4 pawns. Okay.
Okay.
They should be next to each other. So when you like runaway pawn, never coming back on a one-way, that's not right.
Okay.
Okay. Because now that pawn could be captured, and these guys can't help.
I was worried about it.
Well, then, yeah, that's why you shouldn't do that.
I thought I needed a queen.
Now, your king can't move anywhere because of this.
I got that.
So you should move this pawn, doesn't matter where, and then move your king to g7. Okay, then you're moving up in the world. You have a lot more pawns than he does. So you want to play like g5, king g7, knight g6, and you're just going forward.
Everybody at once, though. Like a little group.
Yeah. So like if I was black, I would play g5. I would play king g7.
Yeah.
I would play knight g6.
Group,
and my opponent can't do anything. Then I would put my pawn on h4. And then I might play e4, knight e5. It's a very easy win. You just slowly, go up. But now you're running and running and running.
I thought it was still okay because my queen was on the
That metaphor makes no sense. Terrible.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, I'll remember that next
It's a weak metaphor. Incorrect. It's exactly correct, and you guys are all dumb. Yeah.
Well,
Also, I don't think you know what metaphor means, from studying in Philadelphia. 100 centijuice. Yeah, you're all wrong. This is why you guys are just like random people in the chat, if you can call yourselves people. Jailer 165. That's why I'm a grandmaster and you guys hang a piece every move, because you're right. I said it was an analogy. Then they said it was a metaphor, and I said they don't know what it means, like in Sonny. Right? Like, Sonny, like little boy, and he says, I'm not sleeping with a little boy. It's not a little boy. It's a metaphor. You keep saying little boy. It's not a little boy. It's a metaphor. I don't think you know what that word means. Okay. Anyway, I can't give you these complicated things in the chat because you guys are shallow and pedantic. I mean, that's, sorry. I mean, it's like I'm a college professor who knows everything talking to 4-year-olds, except you guys aren't that smart. 4-year-olds are pretty smart, right? They're just not. You guys can't think outside the box. You just look at the shadows on the walls and you're like, yep, that's what I know. And when somebody gives you new information, you're like, I'm not taking a vaccine. I'm just going to die. And my whole family's going to die because vaccines might make me live. I don't want to live. That's what you guys do.
This is why my chess is so bad.
Plato style's correct.
Listen, it's not just it's not just tactics. I don't know what plan to go with. Like I didn't know whether I need to queen or move everything. I thought about it.
You're still doing well.
I know,
I'm just worried you're going to lose your pawn.
I'm
worried.
Right, well, I had to do something. I want to win.
Right, you get all your pieces together.
Well, I'll do that.
Okay, now he played an irrelevant move because it attacks your queen.
Well, I know I did it.
Yeah, he wants you to go here, pitting his bishop, then he wins. Rawr.
No, I thought it was...
This is a very bad move because your queen wants to be defending the f pawn.
I thought it was because he was going to try to trade queens.
Then you're easily winning.
And then he would be on the queening square.
Okay, you play queen f2. So that's good. Yeah. Good.
Mm-hmm.
And then... I hate telling that analogy because nobody has the intellect to understand it. Nobody. They're all just like, terrible. Okay, queen g3. Now it says queen e7, which I doubt was played. Oh, I think I'm doing the game wrong. Queen d4. Now that move I like. You centralized your queen. Mm-hmm. I like that. Bishop b3. And now you didn't hang your knight, which is funny. It's funny, the engine wants to play e3 now. You play queen f6, also good. Mm-hmm. Queen e3's, that's legal. Queen e5 check is the best. Queen g3 again. Queen e7's the best. Queen e3. Whoa, queen f3. That's like people in the chat would play that. Queen e5 check. And now he played for the win, king h1. Very suspicious. Mm-hmm. Karen's always repeating. Knight e6, good. Bishop c2. f5 is correct. Bishop b3. King h7 is definitely correct. Queen b6. Knight f4 is correct. Yep, very good.
Now we're all moving. Oh,
Queen d8. He's making threats. You'll never see them. Never. But there's not really a threat. Checks, you just move your king. Queen A1 check. You played here, which you didn't write down. Then you played knight E2. Yeah, now he's checking you a lot. The engine wants you to play knight E2 with your queen still on E5. So your queen's defending.
Okay.
So you're still threatening the mate that you want. But now if he checks you,
we were both really low
your
on
queen
time.
is stopping all of his checks.
We were very low on time at this point.
I'm just telling you, so you know. Okay.
So, you know, we were both kind of blitzing it out.
Right now, the engine thinks it's a draw. It thinks he can check you forever. He checked you a couple of times.
I didn't see. I looked at it too.
Okay, now he blundered. He has to play queen E8 check. That way, when you move your king up, he can check you from afar. He wants to always be as far away as possible because the closer he is, the less checks there are. So now he made the losing move. This is the only move that draws. This loses and this loses. But if he goes here, he can keep checking you. And now he cannot. Now you win. Queen takes G8, queen takes G8. Does that mean G7?
G7.
He hung his queen?
Yeah, I wasn't really sure. Yeah, we were low on time.
Right. But probably hanging his queen's a good idea. Because if you don't see it, then he'll take your queen and you'll lose.
Yeah, we were both low on time, and he was trying for some stalemate too.
No, no stalemate.
But after this, he kept.
Okay, then it says G4 queen E3 check. So now you stop writing down the right moves.
Well, I mean, it was below 5 minutes.
Yeah. So you win. Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the best game.
It was the best.
Hey, I at least had that cool tactic.
Let's see what it says about the game.
Terrible.
Okay, delete.
I can't believe I missed knight takes on G2.
And then
I just didn't
promote variation.
Terrible.
And then delete variation, and then promote variation.
Hey, send it to me too.
Give it to me, Neil.
So I can send it to, what's his name? Avif.
Good old what's his name? And then promote variation.
The exchange tag. Oh yeah, I forgot about that too. Okay, I had a couple of moments in the game. I gotta tout myself a little, but not the best game. And some of the things that Ben told me I had actually thought about, so that makes me at least feel good that I was at least thinking about the 2 or 3 different ideas, and I picked the wrong one, but at least thought about those other things. Unfortunately, not accurately. Yeah.
All right.
All right, yay, thank you for all the advice and analysis.
I have to yell at the chat for the next 2 hours.
For what?
They're dumb.
They've been great.
No, some of them,
go
yeah.
Karen, great game. It sucked.
The Monopoly analogy is the best thing that ever happened. All right.
Yeah, I guess I just forgot about that, about Monopoly.
Yeah. Making that analogy for 40 years, nobody's ever understood it. Yeah, you wanna be close.
Okay.
And a term that I made up, I don't make up a lot of chess terms. I make up jokes. Is if your pawns are together like in an island or close, or they could be like one's here, one's here, one's here, one's here. I call that the accordion pawn structure. Accordion to me. All right. Man, there's a lot of red in your game. I'm scared.
That's what I'm saying. I know it's
You
bad.
played 55. He played 53. It says, even though Dubov lost his match, he's better than you. Damn. Okay, now we download, which I don't know how to do because I'm dumb. All right, figured it out.
Yeah.
And we'll save it and change the names.
Terrible.
And then I'll email it.
I'm so happy I won, though.
That's correct.
Even though it was a bad game. I won.
Save as, let's see, Karen. And then PGN. Oh, wait. Karen.
I probably need
And
to
then
do some work.
Taylor. Philip. And then you're some kind of Karen Boyd. And I'm Mr. Boyd. And then, extra rated game. And those ratings are probably wrong. Bam. There you go.
Yay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And then I'll email that to you, and then I can email it to Aviv too if you want.
Yeah, well, I might put some comments in there.
Okay.
So. Thank you, St. Louis Assassin. No, it's just
All right, I'll email out the chat some more.
I just see all the bad stuff. I just wish. Yeah, I was proud of that man moth. I saw it in the game, and I'm like, yeah, this is gonna.
No, that
work
was
out.
great when you played, and then there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you trash talked.
I was
Now,
like,
what did he say after the game? I'm never donating again. What did he say?
He just said good game.
Did you say, yes, you are. You're donating rating points, bitch?
Well, he said, well, you're going to get some points from me or something. He just laughed.
Mm-hmm. And you gained 64 points in the World Open.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're 1,300 again.
Again. So I
Yeah.
can play back up again. Yay.
Yeah, you should be 1,300 as long as you get that game rated.
Yeah, we went to karaoke last night, Lawful Waffle.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun. I stayed later than I wanted. It was fun.
Yeah, keeping the pawns together. And if you're going to move them, you want them to be close so you don't lose them. I mean, when you have a pawn island, the good thing about the pawn chain is that they're together. That's what good waffles do. They stick together.
I did worry about it, but I thought I could get up there.
All right, now for $1 trillion, what cartoon is that and what movie are they referencing? That's what good waffles do. They stick together.
I don't know.
It's The Simpsons, and it's the episode of, who are the two women? Gina Davis and Susan Sarandon.
Oh, yeah.
What's that
Thelma
called?
and Louise.
Thelma and Louise, yeah. So when Thelma and Louise in The Simpsons, when they go to this like diner to talk, everybody in the diner is in the same situation as them. There's always like two people, and they're like, "What do we?" It's everybody's in the same. And then they're like, "That's what friends do. They stick together. That's what brothers do. They stick together. That's what sisters do. They stick together." And then the waitress or the chef says, "These waffles, I can't compare in prices." That's what good waffles do. They stick together. And don't forget it. Thelma and Louise. If we keep down these eggs, these engine black eggs, we'll be sitting pretty. And so forth. All right, who do I rate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Oh, you're done already?
Already? I've been streaming 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Okay.
Already? I've been on Chess TV for an hour.
I've been working.
You know, you were working. What about me? I had to put up with Danny for like an hour and a half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Who do I raid?
What's going on 1? The junior?
Mm-hmm. No, it's that stupid ARC thing. I mean, ARC, yay. Thanks, chess.com.
I like 2.
2?
Yeah.
All right. 3. Raid 2. All right, see you guys.
Bye.
Now, tomorrow I'm doing my stream 6 to 8, just like today. World Cup recap. I'm not doing the World Cup on chess.com Twitch unless Anand's like, I've had enough after 3-4 hours, and then I'll come in. But that's unlikely. But it's not totally unlikely. In fact,